And the road to glory in the PLL Cash App playoffs takes us through New York. It is the semifinals here on Long Island. And we start with the 1 seed New York Atlas, who fittingly have a home game here against the hottest team in the league, the Blue Bloods of the PLL, the Maryland Whipsnakes, as they are one win away from playing for that, the PLL Cash App Championship Trophy. 2 more wins and you get to hoist that thing in Philly. We're going all night longer here at Hempstead tonight. Sammy Adams with a concert. It is a party as we come down the home stretch of the Premier Lacrosse League season. Jeff Teat and the New York Atlas, the class of the league all year, and they are about to face off against the Whips in just a matter of minutes. But our first game today here on the campus of Hofstra, it was a special one, the Battle of the Badges. You might have seen this on the ice. Here it is on the lacrosse field. Fire Department of New York against the New York Police Department. Great roll there from Kevin O'Shea of NYPD. They led 6-4 at half. Fire Department on the comeback trail. Ryan Glidden with the step down ties it at 8. We go to overtime. So get the ball to Harry Hughes, and Big 77 scores the game winner right on the crease, and the NYPD, they win 9-8 in the first ever Battle of the Badges here in the PLL, and it was fun, it was physical, it was intense, and a great celebration of our first responders. Here's our bracket. The games we'll see tonight. Archers and Chaos is essentially a de facto Western Conference Championship game. That's after this one, which is the Eastern Conference Championship, if you will. The best team, the Atlas, against the hottest team, the Whipsnakes. We cannot wait to watch this one with you. Alongside Ryan Boyle and Paul Carcaterra up here in the booth, I'm Drew Carter. We'll check in with Jake Marsh on the field in just a second. And RB, really interesting seasons for both these teams, right? Whipsnakes come out a little bit slow to start. We're thinking, when will they turn it around? They do. Meanwhile, the Atlas, they've been hot all season.
They've been hot all season long, but they're coming off a bye. And you looked at the Whipsnakes, hottest team in the league, won 5 straight last week in the quarterfinals. They hadn't played in like close to a month. They looked rusty. They looked sloppy. It took them a little bit of time to get their sea legs underneath of them. Atlas coming off a bye, like, should we expect the same thing? I know they had practiced last week, but that's a lot to ask against a team that just played, Kark.
Yeah, coming off a bye, but let's go back to 2023 when the Atlas were a dumpster fire. They had 2 wins the entire season, and they were searching for answers, but I think the biggest question was, could Jeff Teat be the superstar? The answer is unequivocally, absolutely. He led the league in points. He broke a PLL record for points in a season. He shattered it. He had the goals, assist lead in the PLL. He's like a location tracker for any teammate. You want to know where Jeff Teat is at all times because he will give you the rock. He moves almost like in slow motion, but that's the best compliment to him because it tells you he's in absolute control.
Yeah, you look at these offensive stats, they just jump off the page. Really look for them to play offense in kind of 3 layers. Entenmann leads the league in clean saves. Clean saves equal transition. You got Danny Logan, you got Kobe Smith, you got Carpenter. If they don't get anything there, then they get in their substitution pattern. Lots of picks, lots of cuts, and then there's 6-on-6 offense. Everything flows through Jeff Teat, and you better not foul him. You better not foul him because they're tops in power play as well. Whipsnakes, least penalized team, but they did have 3 last week in the quarterfinals.
And the Atlas Youth Movement headlined by Connor Schellenberger, who's on the field with Jake.
Connor, after a bye last week, this is your first professional playoff game. What's the vibe for you and the rookies in blue tonight?
Very excited, just following the way of the older guys. Had great leadership, started last week in practice, really the whole year, but you can definitely feel the urgency ramping up this week, so I'm excited.
A big reason for the #1 seed and that extra week of rest is due to the play of Jeff Teat. He is shattering records left and right this year. How important is it knowing you have #7 in blue on your side for this postseason run?
Yeah, it's everything. I mean, he's the best player in the world for a reason, and we're going to ride him to a championship, hopefully.
Thank you. Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Jake, let's go to the starting lineups for the Atlas. They are powered by Ticketmaster.
Yeah, this defense is really underrated. Physicality with Makar, the traffic cop in the middle. Rex Rhodes, a good cover guy. Gavin Adler is a legit defensive player of the year candidate, 2nd in the league in caused turnovers. Doc Aiken, for my money, is a top 5 midfielder in the league. I thought Miles Jones had his best season in the last 3. And Brian Costabile, a streaky shooter, but if he hits the back of the net early, watch out. You just heard from Schellenberger. We talked about Teat. Xander Dixon is the best off-ball attacker in the league this season. And the combination of him and Teat, it just feels right.
Dixon leads the league in assisted goals with 24. His former college teammate Connor Schellenberger, 3 of 5 Rookie of the Year finalists are from the Atlas this season. It's pretty incredible what they've done, but RB, it kind of feels like everyone else is playing for second. When you got TJ Malone from the Whipsnakes, he feels like a shoo-in for that award.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to win that award based off of his statistics. He was tied for third in the points, and he just produces every single week. You think like, oh, maybe he'll slow down. No, last week, 5 points, 2 assists on the power play, and then his ability to create his own shot on ball and then play off ball here off a feed by Patra. That ended up being the game winner. Third-round draft pick, and really part of, I think, a beautiful job this season by Jim Stagnita. A lot of like mini micro moves to get this team to where they are now.
When I was doing draft pick, I thought TJ Malone was a surefire first rounder. He dropped to the third round. It was the biggest gift for Stagnita. But credit Jim Stagnita because he knew how to use Malone. And what I love about Malone is his versatility. You don't know what hand this guy is. And when you watch him play offensively, he can kind of chameleon his way through the offensive set, which allows everyone else to play off ball. He's been terrific.
He's a rookie playing with the vets on the attack line. One of those guys is Matt Rambo, who's downstairs with Jake.
Matt, you're a 2-time PLL champion. How will that postseason experience help you tonight?
Some of our veterans are just going to try and help the young guns get their nerves down. But it's a new season, it's a new team, so we're just going to go out there and play by play.
Offense has been great in the second half of the season, averaging 15 scores per game. What's the main reason behind that?
We're playing together as one unit. That's all you can ask for.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
All right, Jake, let's go to the Whipsnake starting lineup powered by Ticketmaster.
All Terps all the time, and in terms of matchups, you're going to have Dunn on Teat, Muller on Dixon, really kind of that air traffic controller, and then Zapatello on Schellenberger. That matchup goes back to college. In midfield, Conrad, he's the two-way guy. That late season trade by Jim Stagnita, and Patra has really come on strong towards the second half of the season. A goal and assist last week. The attack, we've talked about Malone. You still got Rambo on the left side and Williams on the right side. Those are such hard covers, but frankly, very, very quiet in that quarterfinal win.
They still won 11-10 over the Denver Outlaws, and Jim Stagnita is trying to bring his Whipsnakes to the championship game for the 4th time. They won the title each of the first 2 years this league existed. Lost to the Chaos in the championship the following season. They're trying to get back this year.
And you could argue that this has been Jim Stagnita's best coaching job. And credit this man, too. I mentioned earlier, the Atlas were 2-8 last season, and he flipped the script, and he just understood the value of going heavy in certain spots. And he really invested in the attack play and drafting Connor Schellenberger, getting Liam Entenmann in the cage. It just made this team complete.
Well, you mentioned Liam Entenmann, who they drafted 5th overall. He didn't start the season as their #1 goalkeeper. Tim Troutner actually made the All-Star game as a starter for the Eastern Conference. Entenmann took that job. He has not given it up. Really interesting goalie matchup here today, fellas. These guys were at Chaminade High School together. Brendan Krebs, who starts for the Whipsnakes, 2 years older than Liam Entenmann. They went to high school 5 miles away from here. Krebs never started a game in high school.
He didn't.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Never started a game in high school, Kark.
He wears the number 0 because it represents how many offers he had, right? Coming out of high school, there was one team that eventually believed in him, Manhattan College, right? And when they believed in him, they gave him an opportunity. And I watched this guy in college. When he played against Duke and all those sharpshooters, he proved to me his senior year he was a legitimate PLL-type player.
What an incredible inspiration and testament to all young players coming up. Like, never give up on yourself. Keep grinding. Keep working.
When you check out the odds to win the title, only 4 teams remain. The Atlas, they're the favorites. They've been the cream of the crop all season since they started 4-0. And in that first weekend of the season at Albany, their homecoming, they led that game 7-0 against Maryland, ultimately winning 17-13. Whips clipped them 13-12 in Minneapolis. They split the regular season meetings. Here they go in the playoffs, the best team all year against the hottest team. You got the Blue Bloods and the Whips against the upstarts in the Atlas. Trevor Baptiste takes a hit right off the opening faceoff.
Those are the collisions that hurt the most when there's no give.
Yeah, and we've got a heavyweight matchup at the face-off stripe today with Nardella and Baptiste.
You could argue it's for the face-off specialist of the year. I mean, these are the 2 big dogs. I mean, there's some great face-off guys in the league. Can't forget about the T.D. Erlins and the Michael Sisselbergers and Luke Weirmans, but these guys are the standard.
Chet Camizio lays out Mike Chanenchuk, one of the veterans for the Whips. His pass right to Liam Entenmann, and You talked about it, RB, the clean save percentage, almost 45% for Entenmann. They can start the break like this. There's Teat takes the shot. And what do you think? Fitting fashion for the Atlas in their first playoff game of the year. It's Teat on the board first.
We talked about them being the #1 offense, and a big part of that is their transition game. Clean saves, in this case, was a turnover. I guess it'll be credited as a save, but Entenmann, his ability to get the ball cleanly up and out, and then the directive's clear. Get it to Jeff Teat. You got a little pass down, pick down action. Dunn elects to go underneath of that. So he'll go underneath this pick by Danny Logan, and that allows Jeff Teat to get his hands free.
At the end of the day, what's so fascinating about Teat is when he catches that ball, he's living in the gray area. Are they pressing, or are they going to pull out and get into their settled offense? And when he finds a defense that's not sure of the direction he's going in, that's when he capitalizes. You look at the placement of that shot on a lefty goalie, it's just magic.
Danny Logan got the assist, his first of the summer, had none in the regular season. A couple of goals for the two-time short stick D-Midi of the year. He's up for that award again. Speaking of awards, you look at this game, you got a lot of guys who are going to be celebrated in Philadelphia as Schellenberger's shot is blocked. You got 2 of the 3 Coach of the Year finalists, 4 of the 5 Rookie of the Year finalists. Face-off Player of the Year, both those guys, and then 2 of the 4 Defensive Player of the Year finalists in this game alone. Teat defended by Ajax Zapatello. That's a common matchup, and Krebs comes out of his crease to pick it up.
What a check by Zapatello, and we talk about Jeff Teat's patience. It's countered by Zapatello. You will see Zapatello all afternoon playing steady, technical defense. He's not chasing sticks. He's so good in terms of his body positioning.
Here come the Whip Snakes. There's Ryan Conrad, their new acquisition. He turns it over, and Gavin Adler, Johnny on the spot. #1 pick last year, Defensive Player of the Year finalist this year. He gets the assist on Schellenberger's finish. The Bulls are running here, RB.
And it was another turnover, and this one was set up by Carpenter, the rookie long stick midfielder. He gets the knockdown or the nugget, and then from there the Bulls are out and running. You're going to see the knockdown right there by Carpenter. Once it hits the turf, Adler's off and running. And in this case, Dunn presses out on Teat. That frees up Adler. Beautiful skip pass to Schellenberger. So just incredible defense to offense. That's been the name of the game for Atlas all season long.
So 2 goals, both in transition, just over 2 minutes in. It's 2-0 New York.
What was that rust we were talking about? Like, what are we talking about? Rust?
Well, you know, it's interesting, RB. They've lost 3 times this year. 2 of the 3 were after a bye, right? So Mike Pressler got them together. The team flew to Gillette, practiced last week during the quarterfinals, trying to make sure that they respond to the rest. So far, so good. This is the #1 scoring offense in the league by a mile, more than 15 scores per game. Also, 83 assists during the regular season. Costabile, how did he get that shot away and beats Krebs low and away? 3-0 Atlas, not even 3 minutes in.
Brian Costabile is a streaky player. And I mentioned in the open, when we were going over the lineups, if he gets going early, watch out, because he has the ability to attack a defender right at the heart of the defense, going north-south. And if you look at the location of these shots on Krebs, Krebs is a lefty there. This time he has to go offside low. You saw Jeff Teat stinging it high. This team is shooting at a completely different level out of the gates.
Krebs did not get off to a great start last week up in Gillette. You know, he needs one to just to kind of get himself grounded a little bit.
Keep in mind, in their 2 meetings in the regular season, the Atlas took a 7-0 lead against the Whips in week 1, and then a 5-1 lead in Minneapolis. Maryland came back to win that second game, but is now the 3rd time in a row that the Atlas have jumped on the Whip Snakes. Here's Rambo. Can he settle it down? Entenmann hasn't really been tested yet. That shot back up, won by the Atlas as the shot clock expires.
The thing you have to worry about with Atlas, too, is goaltenders can get rattled early. This is the #1 team in the league in terms of shooting percentage. They're not just great facilitators or dodgers. They make it count, right? So they're going to get ahead of a goalie. Krebs has to make a couple saves here.
The Atlas lead the league in scores per game, shots per game, shooting percentage, assists per game, power play, ground balls per game. They have been a dominant number one. Plus 27 was their score differential during the regular season, which is more than double the second best team in the league. Here's Teed. Now Schellenberger up top. Jake Stevens, the rookie from Syracuse. Dox Aiken. Schellenberger with space, feeds in front. Dixon lost it. Krebs on top of it.
That does not happen very often. You could see Dixon was actually going into kind of a backhanded roll there. He wanted to catch that and shoot that underneath. I think he started that motion before actually receiving the ball.
Thinking shot before the catch.
Here's Levi Anderson, 24 in white, one of those rookies who has helped turn the Whipsnake season around. Adam Patra, also a rookie out of Loyola. On the invert against Chet Camizio. Rambo from long range for him, just inside the arc. Whips win the backup.
Oh, that has to be Makar. Makar, 43 in blue, is closer to the ball when it went out of bounds on a shot. That is a bad call.
They gave it to Malone. See if they can do anything with it with under 10 to shoot. Anderson, the swim and the score. What a move by the rookie. Levi Anderson gets Maryland on the board.
Clark, let's go back to this run out. You pointed it out. It's where the ball goes out of bounds. So it's not a race to the end line. It's where it goes out.
That's Makar.
That's Makar, right? I mean, he's right on top of that.
The Whips make him pay.
Given second life, Anderson, the swim move. Whoop, see you later. Good answer by the Whipsnakes. We got a heavyweight matchup here in Hempstead.
Bold, juicy, beefy, grilled. Flavor this good? It's made by Flame. Taste the difference with 2 Whopper Juniors for just $5 at Burger King.
Okay, trainees, let's work on our fast and friendly claim service.
Eyes on the phone now.
Look alive, Drew.
Your repairs have been scheduled. Nice.
Yes, you'll get a rental car on site.
Heads up. Oh, I'm gonna turn this down to an 8. My bad.
We can do this all day. Geico claim service is 24/7. Nice catch.
Your claim has been approved. Your claim has been approved.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
This is how AG1 works to deliver foundational nutrition that tastes great, too. With AG1, quality comes first. Using subtly fruity flavor from the essences of pineapple and vanilla, with no added sugars or artificial sweeteners. Look forward to your morning routine and start your day with great taste. Upgrade your daily habit today at drinkag1.com.
No matter what body you're born with or what it becomes, you only get one. Let's fight like hell for it.
All right, the Whipsnakes just got on the board, but it might be coming up. The Atlas have challenged this call. They're challenging the shot backup. And we all thought up here in the booth that Brett Makar was closest to the ball when it went out of bounds. So the shot's going to come from Rambo. Watch 43 in blue and 7 in white Malone.
Yeah, Malone is way deeper, but Makar's way closer to the ball. I mean, you don't see the ball go out of bounds in this frame, the actual timing of it, so it's tough to overturn. The live look, I thought, was pretty evident. So you don't see the end line where the ball meets the end line there. So it's hard to make that call. We all saw it live and we thought, pretty clear Makar was closer to the ball when it went out of bounds. The problem is the framing of that shot not wide enough to overturn it.
But do you let common sense prevail?
I think so.
Common sense is one thing, but if you don't have the visual representation to overturn the call, they're going to have it stand, I would think. We all agree.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Don't we have a triangle here?
Let's see what PLL says.
During the timeout, a run out on the previous possession was challenged by the Atlas. The call stands on the field. Good goal.
If we had a wider shot, I think it would have been overturned. But the shot was not wide enough in terms of seeing where the ball actually met the end line and when you can make the call. Seth, I think, is on with us. Seth, what's your interpretation of this?
Clark, you're right on it. The angle that we see, it's really hard to say exactly when that ball crosses the end line, and then you start to look at these angles on who's closer, right? I mean, you can't worry about after it crosses the end line because now we've got players that continue to run, and it kind of muffles everything around. But when the ball went out on the end line, we're going to keep the play as it stands. It's a good goal. Everything else is inconclusive at this time.
Is there a little bit of common sense of just Makar was just right in line with the ball there, or no?
Makar was actually a step behind.
No, I know.
So, I mean, now that he watched it, we had as many angles as we can. Ultimately, we couldn't make the perfect decision because when the ball went out of bounds, we couldn't get that shot of when it crossed the line. So, after all of that, it just becomes inconclusive. It's one of those tough plays.
Yeah, common sense doesn't matter when you don't have the visual representation to overturn it.
No question. So we're going to keep it a goal. And again, it's really hard to see what we saw over those angles. That's all.
All right, that's Seth Tierney, PLL head of competition, and also the head coach for the fire department team today in the Battle of the Badges. More on that later on in the afternoon. But the Whipsnakes, their goal stands, and it's 3-1 Atlas. Here comes Malone, presumptive Rookie of the Year. Great stick by the Atlas defense to knock it away.
They're running today.
This is where they have been so dangerous.
That was an incredible recovery by Makar and then support by Rexroad.
Oh, what a thread of the needle by T. Krebs with a great stop. He's heating up now.
That pass was ridiculous. It's a shame that it wasn't converted because that deserved a highlight.
Absolutely. Teed is doing some Gretzky-esque stuff this year. 64 points, 25 more than anybody else in the league. He broke the PLL scoring record by 20. Pure domination and robbed of an assist there by a good save from Krebs, who didn't have the best start, but he's got 3 now. Here comes Colin Heacock. One of 9 Maryland Terrapins on this Whipsnakes roster. Malone sweeps, shoots, and scores. Stamps a corner. And the rookie stays hot.
This is nasty, and this shows you the versatility of TJ Malone and what he can do above goal line extended, Ryan.
Yeah, you're going to get this double pick action all set up for Malone. So the first pick, they don't really get a lot out of this. So here comes the first pick with this pass and then this pick as the machine kind of jams up. So let's just run it. You're going to get this first pick, not much happens, but then here's Rambo with the hammer. Makar tries to run through that and then post switch. Malone just has got too much speed. His hand's free and he buries it.
He's been on a mission, and I can't say enough about his versatility. When you watch the trajectory of his career, he's an attackman in high school. His freshman year at Penn State, he moves to midfield. He plays alongside the offensive players in Grant Ament. And whoa.
Hold that thought, Clark. Trevor Baptiste.
You know why I held that thought. Something was cooking.
And he really is the key to their whole offense being so explosive. You look at their wins, and they're generating close to 7 goals off of his face-off wins. In their losses, under 4. So his ability to not only win the face-off, but then generate his own shot and bury it, or get them into early offense. That is the secret sauce of this Atlas offense.
And if you look at the production of this Atlas offense in the first quarter, give all the props to Trevor Baptiste because he's feeding this beast. He's 5 for 6 in the stripe showdown with Joe Nardella. And Nardella had the advantage in the regular season.
Here we go again, this time for 2! Trevor Baptiste!
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's do that.
Go.
Wow. Encore. If one's not good enough, do it again.
I mean, it's a 3-goal run in a matter of, what, 4 seconds? 4 seconds. You whipsnakes, you score. You're like, okay, we're crawling back into this. Bang, goal. Bang, 2-pointer.
I mean, I was getting into it in the history of these two going at each other from the inception of the league. Trevor Baptiste has been the standard. The one guy who's kind of just right on his tail has been Joe Nardella. Not today, not in the first quarter. 6 out of 7 in 2 Gs. He's making a statement. And if you go back in the regular season when Nardella had the advantage, you don't think that's in the back of Baptiste's mind? You're crazy.
Week 4, Nardella 18 of 32, and both teams had 4 goals off the face-off. That's the only time the Atlas has not won the matchup. And to your point, Clark, you know Baptiste is thinking about that.
He's got his attention.
Trevor Baptiste, a 4-time face-off athlete of the year in the PLL. Only time he didn't win it was that COVID-affected 2020 season. He's been an MVP of the league.
You know who won it that year? Joe Nardella.
Bingo.
Well, in that COVID season, Nardella had a legit claim to MVP as well, which Zed Williams ended up
that
winning.
So that season was the best thing for Nardella. He never was able to wake up from that run, right? It was like one after another. Jake, you're down there with the man of the hour.
Trevor Baptiste, back-to-back goals, including your 3rd career 2-pointer. What were you feeling there to go to the goal back-to-back times?
I think I just had my shot open. Credit to Shelly, drawing that guy wide. Just happened to be it too.
Incredible work. Keep it going.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Makes a good point there. You talk about Schellenberger getting the guy wide. That gives Baptiste more shooting area, and that's the respect that Schellenberger has for Baptiste as a shooter. He knows.
Anderson with the answer. Goes top right, Levi Anderson, his 2nd goal today. And the Whipsnakes, again, just trying to stay in touch here in the first quarter.
Yeah, I spoke with him after the last quarterfinal win. He was not pleased with his performance. So no surprise, he comes out a little hotter and ready to be aggressive. Such a strong left-handed player. You can see him plant his feet and absolutely sting this corner, but he's such a beautiful dodger on that left wing going underneath. You saw that swim dodge earlier. Here he sweeps top side. You think about Anderson, right? Originally drafted to the Redwoods. Big early to mid-season pickup via trade, again by Jim Stagnita. It's all those little mini micro moves that have added up into the roster, and 5 wins. Hottest team in the PLL.
In the draft, Anderson was an afterthought. Patra was an afterthought. Malone, steal of the draft. You talk about assembling guys in the 3rd round or later for Stagnita that have kind of made this team what they are, right? You knew what you had in Rambo and Zed Williams, but this team is not here without those rookies.
You think about it, I mean, all season long, no Brad Smith, right? And then for most of the season, we're waiting for Tucker Dordovic to come back from injury.
2 weeks or 3
and then
weeks.
he has that horrific injury. They've been playing most of the season without their top 2 midfielders from a year ago.
I saw Brad Smith before the game today. He comes to all the games he can drive to. He's living in New Jersey. He expects to be healthy in December and hopes to play in the championship series in February. But you're right, guys. I mean, what they've done without those 2 midfielders, there's Brad Smith, bottom left of your screen. It's pretty incredible. And for their offense to be humming like it is, I don't think anybody expected it. Krebs with the save, a clean one. Good start the transition. Here's Roman Puglisi.
He's got Mazzone.
In the zone, big number 6. Puglisi doesn't give it to him.
I like that look, too. The last time Anderson had the ball in the 2-man game, it looked like the Atlas were a little discombobulated in terms of playing the picks. I'd give Anderson a lot of runs because he's going to have some shorties on him all day.
Yeah, he just never got that look last week in the quarters. They love to run a couple different actions for him. They're going to give that run out to Danny Logan.
What an effort.
Payback, right? Yeah, there you go.
There's no makeup calls. What are you talking about, Clark? There's no such thing as a makeup call.
Costabile with the clear. 2 minutes left in the first. This one has lived up to the hype. Difference so far, 3 goals in a matter of 4 seconds by Trevor Baptiste. A 1-pointer and then a 2-pointer right off the draw. Schellenberger peaks the shot clock. About halfway gone. in the two-man with his teammate Dox Aiken. A couple of Virginia guys. That shot is wide, and the Whip Snakes win the backup. That's Zapatello.
Maybe I'm starting to see things.
Throw the challenge flag.
I don't know about that one,
I
right?
don't know about that one either.
Wide enough shot.
Closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds.
Well, and the referee on the near side made that instead of Matty Palin on the far side right in front of that play. We've had a couple questionable run-out calls.
You see Mike Pressler, who lost the challenge. He still does have one more challenge, but he lost the timeout by virtue of losing it. A minute left in the first. Anderson's got 2 goals for the Whips. Couldn't connect with Conrad. He just has to flip it back. Rexroad has it for the Atlas.
And one subtle defensive matchup is, I was speaking with defensive coordinator Kevin Understein, they're putting the pull on Conrad to basically eliminate his invert game that Whip Snakes have used effectively the last couple weeks.
And that's where Anderson's had some success with the invert game, because now the shorty's on him.
Yep.
Shot clock is off for Jeff Teat. Being followed by Matt Dunn. In the sub game, Camizio runs off, or Razanka rather. Cormier checks in for the Atlas. Keep your eye on 24 in blue. Under 10 seconds left in the first. Teat with a step. Tried to get to that question mark. Dunn was all over it. Costabile shoots. Krebs has it. His 5th save of the first quarter. And the Atlas take a 6-3 lead to the second. Well, this is all we wanted. You got some of the best players in the world, and maybe the 2 favorites at this point to win the championship. The Whips winners of 5 straight. The Atlas, the best team in the league all season. The Baptiste show in the first quarter has the Bulls on top 6-3, playing at home here on the island.
And we are all clear.
Whoa, you see that?
What?
Craftsman style, 3-bed, 2-bath.
Huh?
Me and the wife are house hunting. Just got pre-approved for a mortgage with Navy Federal Credit Union. No down payment.
Roger that.
Yeah, roof's in good shape, and it's on a cul-de-sac.
Get 100% financing from a top VA loan provider.
Bank left. There's another listing on Walker Road. I think it's got a hot tub.
Proudly serving the entire military community. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Still have symptoms from moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease after a TNF blocker like Humira or Remicade? Put them in check with Rinvoq. Rinvoq works differently, and it's a once-daily pill.
When symptoms tried to take control, I got rapid relief with Rinvoq. Check.
When flares tried to slow me down, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when my doctor saw damage, Rinvoq helped visibly reduce damage of the intestinal lining. Check.
Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission.
And visibly reduced damage. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal. Cancers, including lymphoma and skin. Heart attack, stroke, and GI tears occurred. People 50 and older with a heart disease risk factor have an increased risk of death. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC and Crohn's in check and keep them there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Join the million plus.
Trevor Baptiste, 7 of 9 at the stripe. He's got 3 scoring points through the first quarter. Here he is with Kark last year explaining the craft.
So what's critical with regards to winning a face-off?
So to win, I would say there's a few critical points. So one, every face-off, you start and you come down. So the ref says down, you come down, both guys are straight up and down, not touching the line. Then it's a set and then a whistle. So right on the whistle, it's almost like a race to get down to this ball. Most guys clamp it, you know, they try to clamp on top of the ball and then grab it and direct it into any direction to get to your team or get to yourself, you know? So I would say the big keys are speed, obviously, and power as well. So a lot of times you get down there and sometimes you meet the guy at the ball at the same time, and then you're gonna have to wrestle it out a little bit. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but I'd say speed and power are the 2 biggest things.
You're pretty good at that.
Yeah, a lot of practice.
I feel like the video cuts off too early. Why didn't he give you a tutorial on how to shoot a two-pointer?
Yeah, you're not kidding.
He can clearly do that as well.
Well, that's been part of his game for so long, is his ability to score goals. You know, I've said this in the past, too. I've been to a bunch of Denver practices when he played for the Pioneers and Bill Tierney at the collegiate level, and I always would see him playing offense. Like, he was always a great lacrosse player at his foundation, and the face-offs is obviously his specialty, but at his core, he's a phenomenal lacrosse player.
I'm just waiting for Nardella counter, because you know these two guys, heavyweight matchups. Nardella's, yeah, he's going to have something in response.
He's won 2 of his last 3, so he has responded.
Great battle for it here, picked up by Wheaton Jacobois. 55 in white, didn't play last week in the quarterfinals at Gillette. Here comes Malone, finds Williams. Ooh, rings the pipe right off the crossbar. It goes high into the cloudy sky here on Long Island, and it'll be Atlas ball.
When Zed shoots from that spot, it's like, count it, right? Count it or pipe. Second in the league in goals this season, only behind Jeff Teat. Jake, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I was in both huddles during the end of the first quarter, and for the Whip Snakes, Jim Stagnita flat out told his team they're playing at a different speed with us, and the scoreboard obviously reflects that. He wants his team on the offensive end to do 2 things: get the ball to X and get the ball to Zed Williams, something they did not do in the first quarter. Meanwhile, for Atlas, the coaching squad said it's a 0-0 mentality. Win this quarter, win the game. We'll see what happens.
All right, Jake. Yeah, the Atlas, I mean, it seemed like they were threatening to blow it wide open. They had that 3-0 lead, and they were running in transition as Dixon missed the shot. But Maryland very much in this game. That's a shot clock violation as Aiken was rolling on the crease when the horn sounded. That should be Whip Snake's ball, and it is with 52 to shoot. Mike Pressler, what a job he has done in his second year as the Atlas head coach.
And that's been 2 stories, I think, this season. The turnarounds of the Denver Outlaws and the New York Atlas. The phenomenal coaching jobs by 2 teams that were, honestly, at times tough to watch last year, right? And they've turned it around, and they were amazing. Ted Sudan for the Outlaws, Mike Pressler.
And those are your 3 nominees for Coach of the Year. We'll learn who wins that award Friday in Philly.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, because you can argue they all deserve it.
Yeah, you can make a legit case, for all 3.
Chanenchuk for 2. There's a flag down near midfield, and we'll check it with Matty Palin.
Atlas foul. Atlas foul, 57. 30-second technical, hold.
That's Chet Camizio.
And no big surprise here for Atlas, just from a macro perspective. Tied for most penalties in the league in the regular season. Can Whip Snakes capitalize on those? 7th, 30%. 0 for 5 against the Atlas this season. They've got to take advantage of these when Atlas gift wrap them these opportunities.
There's Malone. Gets it to Patra, a couple of rookies operating up top. That skip pass through the stick of Rambo, turnover.
I think part of the reason they haven't really been able to be successful on the power play is they've had a lot of different looks this year, too, personnel-wise, right? Dordovic's in the lineup. He's got to be on the power play when he's healthy. He plays only for 3 weeks, right? You had the rookies kind of being put in certain spots in terms of leadership. Now Malone's a mainstay early on in the season. You're kind of figuring out your spots.
Yeah, my only pushback to that is, like, they gelled everywhere else offensively, right?
They did. Like, so sometimes power plays are tough because you're expected to score as opposed to you're just in your base offense and you're working off of instincts.
And Tom Schreiber is going to be joining us up here in the booth later on in this second quarter, so make sure you're tuned in for that. The reigning MVP of the PLL will have analysis of this game and a preview of his team, the Archers, which is up next. There's
This guy's
Liam
a
Entenmann
problem.
with a save.
Levi Anderson is a problem physically.
And that
he
was
is a
right-handed.
matchup nightmare. Yes,
that was
I've rarely
right-handed.
seen him shoot that way. Rarely do you see him
Yeah, the
with
Calgary
that kind
native.
of range shoot with his right hand, but he is so physical.
That was Entenmann's first save, by the way. Another guy who's up for Rookie of the Year. Aiken, head of steam and a lefty rip.
The scary part about Aiken, Kark, is it doesn't really matter if you put a pole on him. Like most teams don't have a defensive solution if you're going to beat their pole.
No, because he's one of the best athletes in the league. And we talk about body. This is body to perfection. Lean into the defender and then just kind of shade off that defender to get your hands free. Dox Aiken has put in so much time. Right now he's living down in Dallas. He is working non-stop on his craft, and it's shown. I think he's just been on a mission as an athlete. You know, he attempted to play in the NFL, and just the shape that he got into, and you put that muscle and speed together, and now he's spending so much time on his stick skills and his shooting. You're seeing the complete Dox Aiken, who I think is a top 5 midfielder in the league. And by the way, that was his left hand. He's a right.
I mean, he ran through Mazzone like he wasn't there.
Yeah. He was at Pat's minicamp last year. That's why he didn't play in the PLL. He looks like a football player. So does this guy, Miles Jones. Turns, shoots. Teat with the backup with 10 to shoot.
But when you're strong and you have that speed, like, you're going to be unstoppable, because when he gets into the body of Mazzone then is on his heels. And once he gets him on his heels, he's done.
Teat plays the 2-man with Costabile. 3 to shoot. Dixon gets the shot away. Shot clock violation. As the Atlas leads 7-3. Whipsnakes have gotten 2 goals from Levi Anderson. For the Atlas, it's been a lot of transition. Winner of this one gets the winner of Archers in Chaos later today. Patra's shot backed up by Rambo.
You know, we've seen a lot of production from Patra, but you almost need his production too, because you know what you're getting out of your attack, right? With Rambo and Williams and obviously TJ Malone. But midfield, there's times where this midfield doesn't have that presence, and you need a guy like Patra to be effective.
Takes a shot here.
It just always seems like he gets to his left. And defensively, I'd almost rather him beat me topside, because every time he goes underneath.
Breakdown defensively. Entenmann kicks it away and keeps it out.
Every time Patra gets underneath, good things happen. And that was the invert offense by Conrad that Atlas was so concerned about.
Bailed out by their goalie, though, and Maryland has now missed 8 shots in a row.
Got him.
In the sub game, Kobe Smith left alone for 2.
I think you should have given it back to Dox Aiken there.
And there was a breakdown in the sub game behind the play. Atlas called for a violation. They're offside or too many men, so turnover back to the Whipsnakes.
Kind of talk more about the midfield. You know, Chanachuk's been shooting 15% this season. That's well below his average. You're asking a lot of rookies in terms of Patra and Anderson to step up in these big spots.
Heacock after the roll on the finish. And Colin Heacock makes it a 3-goal game midway through this second quarter.
They've got Entenmann on his heels, and it looks like he might be a little nicked up. And I'm talking about all these rookies in Patra and Anderson. Colin Heacock's been around for a while. The bright lights will not have him back down from a moment like this. Feels the defensive pressure, gets to the heart of the defense, and makes it count. Rambo Heacock, championship ways.
Tom Schreiber's coming on next.
The worst part about being a caveman is the upkeep. I'm a hairy guy, but my razor has to be available 24/7.
Available 24/7. Sounds like Geico's fast and friendly claim service.
Oh, I see. Okay, funny man, why don't you come up here and tell some jokes?
What do you call a gecko who helps with insurance? My hero.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
This is amateur hour.
Be
BK Royal Crispy Wraps. Eat it with the meal or have it as a snack. Only $2.99. It's a hunger hack and it fits in one hand. At BK, have it your way.
He's got an NFL offer.
Don't play with me.
I think I'm gonna take it.
Aren't you a little too old to be playing football?
Wait, what?
They want somebody that can run a 40, not somebody that is 40. When the coach calls your number, you gonna say G56. Bingo. How you gonna celebrate a win? You gonna give everybody butterscotch candy? Probably out your pocket with no wrappers on it. Just gonna give them raw candy. That's nasty, by the way.
With DraftKings, new customers bet $5 to get $250 instantly in bonus bets and a month of NFL Plus Premium. The crown is yours.
No matter what body you're born with, or what it becomes, you only get one. Let's fight like hell for it.
Welcome back to the PLL Cash App Playoffs on ESPN, and welcome back to Hofstra. 7-4 Atlas over the Whips mid-second quarter. Drew Kark and RB back up here in the booth alongside Captain America, Tom Schreiber, the reigning PLL MVP, out for the season, unfortunately, with a broken collarbone. Tom, thanks for coming up, man. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing well. I'm feeling good. I'd rather be playing today, but happy to be up here in the booth and watch some great lacrosse.
We would rather be watching you, too, and just the run that you've been on since you started with the PLL in 2019 has been magical. I mean, the dominance at that position that you've had as a midfielder, it's been a pleasure to watch. And I know this is a tough spot for you to watch your mates play in the next game, but we're glad you're here, and we're glad that you're going to add to the broadcast, and we wish you well.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Kark.
So far, Tom, I mean, this is a fun matchup, right? You got two best face-off guys in the league statistically. You got the hottest team against a team that's been the best all year. As you've watched this first half, what stood out to you?
Well, I think you have two really competitive teams, and I think it starts, as we just watched that last draw, with those two face-off guys. Both of those guys seem to set the tone for each of their teams. And just like a lot of action between both of these teams. They both have a lot of options on offense, and it's been fun to watch, and this guy in particular has been kind of a nightmare to cover, so I'm curious to see how this ends up.
What makes him a nightmare to cover in your mind?
He's unorthodox. He has great size. He could get underneath. He could get over the top. I think he has a bit more feeding ability than one might think initially, but he can score, and he doesn't shy away from these big moments. He's an impressive player.
It's Levi Anderson, 24 and white, who Tom Schreiber's talking about, just a rookie. How about Doc Aiken? I feel like his play at the midfield has really elevated.
You know, as a midfielder, I always like to credit that position as having a pretty big impact on the game. But when you look at what Doc's has done this year, he's really just elevated his game, and he's such a nightmare to cover. And I think you made that point, RB, around if you pull him, if you short stick him, he's just as effective. And anytime you have a guy like that, it opens up the rest of your offense.
There's Miles Jones, the lefty shot, and the score. There you go, Tom, some midfield action for you.
As you've watched Jones kind of evolve throughout his career, what has been different with him on Atlas this season? He just looks rejuvenated. I don't know what it is, though, specifically. I mean, I'd love to have your thoughts on it.
He seems comfortable. He seems comfortable. He seems confident. Miles is somebody who's been dominant for so long, and what I love about his game is he's dangerous in so many different ways. He could dodge physically. He's had a quick first step for a big guy. He could go right hand. He could go left hand. And the part I love about Miles' game the most is he can feed.
Yeah.
And it makes it really difficult for the defense to cover a guy like that.
You said comfortable. I think he's pretty comfortable after that little celebration, right? Looks like Drew Carter after a morning lift.
Thinking of Chris Cotter. Yeah, Miles Jones, a specimen. You saw 6-time All-Star, one of many big names on this Atlas offense. You got 8 goals already. 4 minutes to play in this first half.
Post face-off win, Tom, how fast is that 32? Because it feels fast, but it seems like you got to just go immediately.
It's fast, and whether you're going to the goal or not, you have to have some sort of pulse. Anytime you really slow the ball down, it tends to take away from the quality of that possession.
Got a flag down. This isn't good news for the Whip Snakes because the Atlas on the power play are frightening. Tops in the leagues.
Almost 50% for the regular season.
And you're going to have TJ Malone. He's in the middle of the field. Well, now he's going over to cover somebody. They got too many guys that are offside. So Mazzone is the free double, number 6 in white, just kind of planting himself right in front of the crease.
Playing 6-on-7 here, the Atlas on offense, 10 to shoot.
I think you got to go to Cormier, who's got Malone on him.
That they do. Cormier had 5 goals in the last week of the regular season. Wild shot Atlas power play coming in.
Whipsnakes foul number 7, 30-second technical, offsides.
Yeah, Cormier in the last outing was incredible.
How's this for a heavyweight matchup, guys? New York led the league in the power play, as we said, during the regular season. Jim Stagnitas, Maryland Whipsnakes
pretty
have
good.
not given up a power play goal
Something
all
has
season.
to give.
Tom, what's the key to a good power play?
You have to have great feeders. You have to have people who are shot ready. And unfortunately for the Whipsnakes, the Atlas have everything you need to have a deadly power play led by Jeff Teat.
Sounds like you're describing yourself, too. Shot ready and great passers. I mean, you're one of the best passing midfielders I've ever seen. Your shot and your wrists.
Well, I appreciate that, Kark, and I've been doing my best to add new layers to my game, and this team is chock full of guys who can really do a lot of different things. It's not a one-dimensional offense by any stretch.
Big time save from Krebs, denying Dixon, which is hard to do from that spot.
You know, Tom, I'd like to ask you a big picture question. You've been in the league since 2019 when it started. I feel like this rookie class is different. How would you interpret the influx of talent right now?
I'd agree. They're special. When you look around the league, all over the place, you have your headliners, you have the Brennan O'Neills, you have the TJ Malones, you have Schellenberger, but there's just so many guys across the league playing different positions that have just excelled. It seems like they've had a huge impact on this year, and one of the things in pro lacrosse is you're used to playing against the same team. So oftentimes you have a great scout, and you know how guys play the game. When you have a rookie who's game ready and throws something a little different at you, even if it's you've seen him on film, it's just different. You know, and a lot of these guys have gained a lot of confidence by this time of the year, and I'm expecting a lot of these rookies to have some big impacts throughout the playoffs.
Costabile, the ground ball pickup. Shot clock is low. Schellenberger got rocked on the crease, and he stepped in, and it'll be Whip's ball.
You know, to Tom's point with the rookie class, you have the headliners, but the depth of this class, too. I mean, think about Jack Van Overbeck, right? I mean, he was a guy who wasn't even drafted. You bring him in because of, you know, some injuries to Matt Moore late in the season in Utah, and he was the story of that weekend. This is a guy who didn't even get drafted.
Such an impressive part of Vano's game is his confidence and his ability to play the way he's always played.
Yeah.
And the rookies, I try to tell new guys year in and year out, the faster you could get comfortable, the faster you could be yourself, the more success that you'll have.
I always felt like it was harder to do that defensively because you've got like a scout that you've got to learn an entire team of offensive players that are the best in the world. Whereas like if you're a really good offensive player, it's like, yeah, just play off Tom.
Yeah.
Like you can figure it out. You can play off Tom. Whereas
That's a
like
great point.
Zappatello, like, yeah, he knows who Schellenberger is. He doesn't know who Jeff Teat is.
That's like, a great point, Ryan, because to Zappatello specifically, the first half of the season, when he was in one-on-one matchups, his opponent was shooting around 50%. The second half of the season, around 20%. So he had to figure out not just covering his man, but the whole pieces of the puzzle with the defense. Puts you in a tough spot to cover when you're asked to because your head's spinning.
I think so, and regardless of the position, oftentimes you have a different role on that team.
Yeah.
You know, as a defenseman, you know, Zappatello, for example, has probably covered the #1 guy most of the time in his career, at least the last couple of years. And then you go into a different role, you know, and the other difference is, hey, the #2 attackman in the PLL,
Yeah,
he's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
And pretty well-rounded.
Pretty good.
Play off ball, can have the ball on their stick. So I would imagine that'd be a pretty tough task, and I'm not surprised to see that he's figured it out. You could watch that guy play, and you could tell he's got it.
One thing that helps is so many Terps on this Whipsnakes team. The terminology is similar. Most of these guys went to Maryland. Part of the reason they've won 5 games in a row. By the way, they have not trailed at halftime in any of those 5 straight victories. That's what they're staring at here. Malone picks it up and puts it in. The rookie is Johnny on the spot, his second goal of this first half.
And the Whipsnakes are going to run a little action for Patra. They love this set piece. Atlas are going to try to blow it up at X by denying Malone the ball, but they're still going to skip it through to Patra. He's got all that space to go underneath. You could see Atlas reacting to him defensively. That leaves Malone, Johnny on the spot right there to clean up the garbage. So there's the slide, there's the support. You could see Adler actually trying to anticipate a run out. Little did he know the ball was still in play.
Yeah, that's a lunge pail goal by Malone, too. You know you're getting whacked, right? In this league, the defenders are brutal. When the ball is on the crease, you're not coming out feeling good. And Malone knows that, but he pays the price for a good reason.
It feels like Malone gets like one of those a game, whether it's a goal or an assist, kind of like just gray matter, gray area. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
I think he just has a super high IQ. And obviously that's what we'd like to call a garbage goal, but you have to be in the right spot to get those goals. And then going back to Patra, he just has this uncanny ability to get his hands free. And I think what happens oftentimes on those dodges is he's not necessarily beating you with speed. So you're reluctant to slide. So he's able to free his hands. It's a lot like what Connor Fields does.
Yeah.
There's a level of physicality.
John Grant Jr. was like that too. Like you don't need a clean break.
They kind of live in the gray, and they're able to get their hands free because of it.
Janachuk with the shot, Entenmann the save. Atlas plenty of time for one final look.
Seeing a lot of isolations and one-on-one dodges. The last 10 goals of this game combined with both teams, unassisted goals. I mean, guys are going after their matchups in this game.
I think that has to happen in playoff lacrosse. You got to not shy away from the big moments and take the ball to the net and have something happen. I think both teams are probably a little slow to slide today as well. So
they all watched Carolina last weekend.
It worked out for them. Yeah, let's take an 8-5 lead to the half. Tom, it's been great to have you up on the booth. You're going to join us in the second game as well, right? Down on the sideline?
He's staying here for halftime.
Why are you kicking him out?
Why are you kicking him out?
Don't listen to this guy.
We're getting rid of Carr.
Schreiber's
staying, baby.
Actually, I'm going to leave. Tom's going to stay. He's going to do play-by-play. Jake's on the field with Jeff T.
Jeff T, you guys with an 8-5 lead at the half, 6 different scorers. How important is that versatility in the first 2 quarters?
Yeah, I think we're trying to play unselfish, and it's going to take everybody. At this time of year, that's one of our emphasis, so I think we're doing a good job of that.
Hot start in the first period with 6 goals, but just 2 in the second. What went wrong offensively for you guys in those final 12 minutes?
I don't think anything went wrong. Maybe some drop passes. Cubs making some great saves. I think we just got to, bear down and get those opportunities.
All right, good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
All right, Jake, coming up at halftime, we preview tonight's second semifinal game between Utah and Carolina. Tom Schreiber sticking around to preview that one with his Archers against the Chaos. Also a recap of the Battle of the Badges between FDNY and NYPD. Atlas 24 minutes away from their first championship game appearance in franchise history. They lead 8-5 over the Whipsnakes at halftime here on the island.
As a member of Navy Federal Credit Union, Frank feels financially at ease, which means he can worry about other things, like if he should look at a text during his anniversary dinner. But what if there's an emergency? What if he left the iron on? What if the house is on fire? Does the fire department text? Frank has a lot of things to worry about, but as a member of Navy Federal, his finances aren't one of them. Become a member today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Bold, juicy, beefy, grilled. Flavor this good? It's made by Flame. Taste the difference with 2 Whopper Juniors for just $5 at Burger King.
Join the million-plus fans who have made game days more entertaining by playing along on Underdog. It's as easy as picking higher or lower on your favorite players' stats like touchdowns, yards, and so much more. Football fans from all over the U.S. have won over $1 billion. Sign up with promo code DOG and get your first deposit matched up to $1,000. All the sports, all the stars, all on Underdog.
Still have symptoms from moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease after a TNF blocker like Humira or Remicade? Put them in check with Rinvoq. Rinvoq works differently and it's a once-daily pill.
When symptoms tried to take control, I got rapid relief with Rinvoq. Check.
When flares tried to slow me down, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when my doctor saw damage, Rinvoq helped visibly reduce damage of the intestinal lining. Check.
Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission.
And visibly reduced damage. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal. Cancers, including lymphoma and skin. Heart attack, stroke, and GI tears occurred. People 50 and older with a heart disease risk factor have an increased risk of death. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC and Crohn's in check and keep them there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
He has his whole life ahead of him. And I want to be there for all of it, you know? Time is precious. I want to make the most of it. Because he deserves my best.
I got you, buddy. I got you.
With Armor All, a little bit of this protects you from a lot of that. Armor All, less work, more clean.
Armor All for an easy winning clean, even at home.
Excellent choice.
Armor All, chosen by champions.
Welcome back to the PLL Cash App Playoffs on ESPN. Welcome back to Hofstra. 8-5 Atlas over the Whips. At halftime, Maryland trying to win their 6th game in a row and go back to the Cash App Championship game for the first time since 2021. Our first game on this field today, the Battle of the Badges, honoring the first responders of New York, the fire department against the police department. In the first half, that's Kevin O'Shea, the attackman for the police department. What a move. 6-4 was their lead at half. But here's Ryan Glidden, ties the game up for FDNY, much to the delight of his head coach, Seth Tierney, who was on the sideline for this game. And then in overtime, it's Harry Hughes on the inside roll. That's your sudden victory winner. NYPD 9, Fire Department 8. They win the first Battle of the Badges, and that means a lot. That was a physical, chippy game, hopefully the first of many. Here's our bracket in the Cash App Playoffs. Atlas and Whips, this is your de facto Eastern Conference Championship. Archers and Chaos is your de facto Western Conference Championship. The Archers are the 2 seed and the favorite in that game, but they are missing their captain and the reigning MVP, Tom Schreiber, who's back with us up here in the booth. And Tom, I know you're from around this area, right? East Meadow, New York, right? What is it like growing up on Long Island, having lacrosse as such a part of the culture?
It's special, and I spent a whole lot of days at this stadium watching professional lacrosse, watching college lacrosse, and I was just around the game a lot. So I'm one of those rare cases where I wanted to be a pro lacrosse player my whole life, and I was around a lot of great mentors and great guys who really laid down the foundation for where we are today. So it's special for me to be back here. You know, obviously I'd love to be playing, but happy to be here and happy to have some competitive lacrosse here in the playoffs.
How long are those FDNY and police, how long are those going to be telling those guys the stories from today? They're going to be telling those like in the bars for the next year, basically, to the next year's game?
I think a day like today is where legends are made. I think we're going to hear from a lot of those guys. I have plenty of family and people growing up on Long Island in the fire department and part of the NYPD, and you've heard legendary games back at Caniac Park, adult leagues, and to see those guys take that game and play on this stage is pretty special. And of course, it goes to overtime. And of course, I have a feeling that play will be discussed in bar rooms across New York City for years to come.
Yeah. Let's talk about the game that your team is playing. Unfortunately, again, you can't play in it, Archers and Chaos. But we're going to talk to you during that game. And of course, you got the inside scoop on the Archers right now. You still win that second game even after you got injured that last week of the regular season. What did you see from your teammates as they kind of picked up the slack without you in there?
In Utah, a whole lot of energy. Yeah. I think one of the things we really fed off of was that Utah crowd. And obviously, it being the first year of playing for Utah, they played a role in that game. And then I think our team responded. I think we just had contributions all over the place, guys playing with a ton of energy, guys playing with a ton of confidence. And I think we'll see more of that today. It's not necessarily replace one guy. I think everybody chips in a little bit. And the beauty of our offense in particular is I think any of those guys could have a huge game today, and no one would be surprised.
You look at what Carolina did last week, right? The no-slide defense, right? So you're going to have certain guys, playmakers specifically, step up. And you look at what Amen did last year on this field. in the semifinal. He stepped up, had a monster game. You know, when I think of the two players without you in the lineup that really have the shoulder the biggest load, I would look at Ament and Fields specifically.
Sure, and I think those guys have been super successful. And Grant in particular, what he's done this year, going from attack or being kind of attack/midfield to being a full-time midfielder, I think a lot of people, a lot of fans might not realize how difficult that is mentally. And I think the steps that Grant took maturity-wise and toughness-wise to be able to play that role and have that much success has been something, you know, as a friend of his, as a teammate of his, that, you know, I'm super proud of him for. And I think things are lining up for him, hopefully, to really cash in on all that hard work and have a really great run.
I didn't think Ament had that range, right? Like, you look at this shot chart, early in his career, you would think everything kind of here around the crease. Like, this layer right here around the two-point arc, you know, to me, that's been the most impressive part of his evolution as a midfielder specifically, is winning those matchups and then scoring from range.
100%. He's become an offensive weapon. I think he's obviously such a heralded feeder.
Yeah.
He's had so much success distributing the ball, but what he's really elevated his game to the point where he can go and get his own shot. And in a game like this where they're probably going to be slow to slide, we're going to need plays like that from Grant, and he's done it all year long.
How about plays like this from Connor Fields? You could use a few of these. This is maybe the goal of the year. Back in the middle of the regular season, it was everywhere on social media, #1 on top 10. Stuff like this, Tom, being his teammate, seeing it every day, does it eventually just become kind of routine for Connor Fields to do stuff like that?
Not this one.
Yeah.
You know, not this one. The backhands, the behind the backs, you know, his creativity is second to none, and he's such an impressive player, and he can use his body, he can be creative, he can score in a number of different ways. But I can't say that between the legs jumper to the high corner
I saw
happens that
more
often.
kids practicing that shot the following week than I think I've ever seen them practice any other shot before.
I think it probably is going to be a hit to the fundamental and the purists of the game at youth camps across the country. But an exciting highlight and one that we could see from Connor at any point in the game.
Now, your boys have their hands full today against Blaze Reardon, who's, anyway you slice it, he's the best playoff goalie of all time. This one, he just got you. I mean, that was you shooting, and you almost had it, but it got stuck in his shorts. And this is the kind of thing that Blaze does routinely when you get to this time of year, is he's got 60% for his playoff career, most postseason saves of all time. What makes him so tough to go against?
Look, he's as good as it gets, and I think he has the respect of the entire league. Just based on his play, he steps up in the biggest moments. He steals shots. He makes all the saves he's supposed to make, outlets the ball quick. He's mobile outside of the net. He's really somebody without a weakness. And it's not necessarily solving Blaze with a certain shot. You just have to generate enough opportunities where you account for that great performance. And we expect, you know, this is what he's done year in and year out, and we expect a great game from Blaze. We just have to stack great opportunities.
So two different schools of thought, right? From a scout perspective, it's like shoot this certain spot on this goalie from this position on the field. That's one school of thought. And then their school of thought is don't say anything and just shoot or shoot. Right, so when you're going against Blaze, it seems like more of the latter there of like, if you get in your own head just a teensy little bit, then he's got you. And like just volume of shots.
For sure, and you see goalies, probably not to the same extent as Blaze, start to tilt the game because of that.
Yeah.
Right, you're starting to get in your own head. You're starting to play outside of yourself a little bit. So you don't necessarily want to think too much about, hey, what's Blaze doing? It's like, okay, I have to shoot my shot, and we just have to do it enough times where we allow for Blaze to go 70%, right? Make some great saves. And that's all about generating opportunities and dodging hard and getting to the net.
Yeah, Blaze Reardon was our champion player spotlight, and for good reason. He's going to try to lead the Chaos to a win over Tom Schreiber's Utah Archers. That is our second game today, also on ESPN Plus. Right now it's halftime between the Atlas and the Whips. Tom, I'm going to say thank you now. And Clark's not in here, so I'm not going to get yelled at. But, Tom, great stuff, man. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me.
We'll talk to you during the second game.
And we are all clear.
Whoa, you see that?
What?
Craftsman style, 3-bed, 2-bath.
Huh?
Me and the wife are house hunting. Just got pre-approved for a mortgage with Navy Federal Credit Union. No down payment.
Roger that.
Yeah, roof's in good shape, and it's on a cul-de-sac.
Get 100% financing from a top VA loan provider.
Bank left. There's another listing on Walker Road. I think it's got a hot tub.
Proudly serving the entire military community. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Bold, juicy, beefy, grilled. Flavor this good? It's made by Flame. Taste the difference with 2 Whopper Juniors for just $5 at Burger King.
Join the million-plus fans who have made game days more entertaining by playing along on Underdog. Sign up with promo code DOG and get your first deposit matched up to $1,000. All the sports, all the stars, all on Underdog.
Welcome back to the PLL Cash App Playoffs on ESPN. 8-5 Atlas as we start the third quarter. This is our first of 2 semifinals today. Utah and Carolina wraps it up. 2 winners of these games will match up in the championship in Philly on Sunday. First half stats. Atlas have the only 2 is from Trevor Baptiste. The face-off 1 battle, that's a good one.
Yeah, the one concerning thing for me, if you're a New York Atlas fan, is Liam Entenmann with the 2 saves. We saw him kind of get up gingerly one time. Yeah. I don't see that same pop in terms of the way that he approaches the ball on his saves. Be interesting to see how he responds in the second half, because he's had an incredible rookie campaign. The other thing, too, if you're the Whipsnakes, you got to get Zed Williams involved more. He only has 6 touches. He's 0 for 1 shooting with the 2 turnovers. Like, Big Zed needs to get into the game.
Yeah, Zed Williams, second in the league in goals during the regular season. Highest goal rate and shot rate in the PLL. Quiet for him and Matt Rambo in that first half. TJ Malone, though, as he has all season as a rookie, keeping them in this game. This is where the Atlas have been so much better than last year. Right off the face-off win, they have been the most efficient team in the league by a mile in the 32-second shot clock after they were second to last year. Got from about 21% to 32% in terms of efficiency as Teet's shot is kicked away by Brendan Krebs.
And I feel like he's settled down, RB.
That was a crazy save.
Yeah, Krebs has settled down.
That's 9 saves for the former Manhattan Jasper. Played his high school lacrosse at Chaminade in Mineola, about 5 miles away from here. Ryan Conrad running out of the box. Entenmann makes the stop.
That's the pop that tells me he's okay, because he's so good blowing away, and when he's got a lot of like force behind that movement, you know he's fine.
Yeah, he had some nice explosiveness on that save.
Teet the feed in front. Big collision on the crease, which leads to a flag. Chet Camizio got blasted as he tried to let the shot go.
Whipsnakes foul, number 14, 30-second technical push.
So here we go again. That's Tim Muller. Atlas to the power play for the second time.
You see the switch. They got Shannonchuk on Teet. And on that switch, Camizio crashes the crease. Dunn originally on Teet. They didn't change that, so Muller's got to come in and support there. And that might have saved a goal, frankly.
Yeah. There's good penalties and there's bad ones. That's a good one.
And your penalty kill is perfect. You might as well.
Little umbrella open set here. Dixon will go into the middle.
Xander Dixon and Peyton Cormier and Connor Schellenberg are all on the same power play. It's like we're at Klockner. But that is an errant pass. And the Atlas scoop it up.
It was deflected, which is why there's no over and back.
Yep.
You mentioned, Drew, Dixon and Cormier in the middle. They work so good inside together. Talk about body language, 6th sense. But that's a second drop now by Dixon.
He kind of got handcuffed there a little bit. He still usually catches those.
Cormier, the low to high rip. Krebs with another save. That's 10. Brendan Krebs. He's got a little extra motivation with Liam Entenmann on the other side. Krebs never started a game in high school. Entenmann was a couple of years younger. Krebs stuck behind a couple of guys. One who also went to Notre Dame, and Jack Zulo, and then Andrew Bonafide went to Duke.
A bit of a goalie factor.
Yes. The Flyers. And Entenmann showed up on the varsity team.
I think Entenmann was only a 1-year starter in high school because of that pipeline. Yeah. It's like a Texas football school, right? The next quarterback's waiting. or a Gilman lacrosse team where the next guy wants Ryan Boyle's X behind spot. Can't wait till Boyle graduates.
I meant to ask Tom Schreiber, but I think he did go to Princeton just because of RB. He was inspired by him.
I think he was Tierney, Coach Bill Tierney's kind of last year recruits. When Chris Bates got that job, Bill Tierney was like, the first thing you do is you drive
to Long Island and hold on to that recruit.
You drive to his home and make sure he doesn't go anywhere. Drive there. This isn't a phone call. That's a drive there now.
And if you don't have good vibes, have Boyle call.
Atlas have missed their last 8 shots, 3.5 minutes into this third quarter, still leading by 3.
Practice Tom's freshman year, you knew he was special. The very first time you saw him play.
The two-handedness, and it's not just like, oh, he has a left hand. No, his left hand is as good as his right hand. There's nothing he can't do with his offhand.
On the roster, he's listed as R/L.
And his passing, he's like one of the most elite shooters ever on the run. His passing is equal.
Here's Schellenberger. T takes the shot, catches some iron. Good enough for a shot clock reset if they pick up the ground ball, which they do. Dixon defended by Zappitello.
Slow start to this second half.
Yeah.
Still no goals in the third quarter. On the pick game, Schellenberger and Costabile feed in front. Stevens lost his footing. Could not pull the trigger on the shot, and he stepped in the crease.
The story of the third quarter is Brendan Krebs. I mean, just some incredible stops. And even right there, that wasn't a save, but he stayed disciplined on all of Stevens' fakes. So Stevens was like, wait, you didn't react to any of those?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay.
No, that's a great point. Sometimes you don't need to make a save to alter a shot.
It's like a great rim protector, not needing to block everything. You can deter shots.
He's in double-digit saves. I think Entenmann's only at 3.
I feel like the Whips have barely had the ball this quarter.
Here's Chanenchuk, has Logan hung up. Williams. Now a scrum for it, just outside the crease. And guess who's got it? It's Tyler Carpenter, the rookie who leads the league in ground balls among non-faceoff men.
This has been a sloppy quarter for Whip Snakes offensively. They just really haven't had the ball. Not a lot of ball possession. I mean, frankly, they're lucky that still this game just be a 3-goal margin, and they all should be crediting Krebs the next time out.
Krebs has taken this game over after he allowed goals on the first 3 shots he saw. Got that first one, and he is heated up in a hurry. Here's Jones, draws the slide. Pass got through to Costabile, a bouncer for 2. Ball's moving, 13 to shoot.
Beautiful job there by Jones. Once he got that double, pulling it away, dragging that double team to create more space off ball.
Now it's Team using the Jones screen. Zappitello's all over it. And Krebs has it. They'll start the transition. This could be numbers here for Maryland. Matt Dunn on the move. Bernhardt strokes it. Shoots it high.
And you'll take that if you're Atlas defensively. A lot of green here.
Williams trying to get to his shot. Nice feed, Malone. Rambo with the finish.
There it is. They were putting us to sleep. The Whips.
Heads up play here by Zed Williams. Off the end line, the restart. Everybody substitutes off the play. And Williams goes, wait a second. We got a lot of green here. Let's go 3-on-3. I love my attack unit. I'm going to dodge hard, draw that double, get it to Malone. Beautiful feed inside to Rambo. And the Whips veteran attack are finally on the board here.
Yes, they are. Ice in the veins. It's playoff time. It's the lefty from Philly.
The worst part about being a caveman is the upkeep. I'm a hairy guy, but my razor has to be available 24/7.
Available 24/7. Sounds like Geico's fast and friendly claim service.
Oh, I see. Okay, funny man, why don't you come up here and tell some jokes?
What do you call a gecko who helps with insurance? My hero.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
This is amateur hour.
It's so on.
No matter what body you're born with, or what it becomes, you only get one. Let's fight like hell for it.
It would be the best story, not only in tennis, but maybe in sports.
Raise your hand, Doreen.
We were just two young black girls playing in Compton. This is not normally how that story goes. I looked different. I played different. I was more emotional. I was better. I was stronger. I had muscle. I was something that no one had ever seen before. Ever.
Let's go under the helmet, powered by Cash App.
Steve-O! Duck! When you're pro, get in the middle, pipe. The bottom pipe, they're filling up to you already. We're just doubling side with slips, great job. Yo, let's get into Oscar quicker. I feel like we're killing like 7-8 seconds every time just by not getting into it. We should get into Oscar like quicker. We're killing game clock just by like standing around.
On fast break, balls at the other end, you got to be the voice down there.
Yeah.
Ball goes out of bounds, stream of 21. Oscar, you're the guy in the middle, so you can communicate behind and up top.
Gotcha. Yeah, baby! Come on! Well done! Come on!
You know what's interesting to me? A lot of times you think of a communicator as the guy behind the cage, right? Whether it's, Jeff Teat or TJ Malone or, some of the great ex-attackmen. Mike Pressler's talking to Xander Dixon there, and you can tell that he's putting some responsibility on him to be a traffic cop. Inside guys can be traffic cops in terms of the way that the rest of the offense operates.
They can see everything, understand how the slide packages are going to work, and you can see the trust and the IQ of Dixon.
He's the vocal. He's talking to Teat. I'm like, part of me is like, Teat, tell him to be quiet. But he knows, right? Because you'd think Teat, the MVP, like he's getting orders from someone, but he's correct.
Here's Zed Williams. Whips have it as close as it's been since it was 4-2 as they chip away at this Atlas lead.
And Williams only has 2 touches this quarter, but in both of them, ultra aggressive.
Well, he's been that way all year. Shoots it almost 40% of the time he touches it, highest in the league.
Broken stick here.
15 to shoot. It's Heacock. Yeah, Heacock, his biceps can break your stick. Stevens trying to play defense without it. Heacock shoots and scores. And we got a 1-goal game.
He's flexing now. This is one big dude. I was talking to him before the game. I was asking him, I said, I covered you in college in 2017. You weren't this big. What happened to you? He said puberty. That is man strength.
That
and
is
he is
man
just
strength.
using his body to get into the defender with no stick, and it's just pow.
What I love about it is he recognizes Stevens' stick is broken, and that's the guy you want to go at. The first attempt, not successful, but instead of giving the rock up, no, this is our best opportunity offensively. I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to hold on to the ball, and I'm going to keep attacking this player with no stick.
Do you think that's directed at Miles Jones?
Yes, that's
same
exactly
Selly?
what I think he looked over at the Atlas sideline.
Same Selly. I'll tell you what, the last 2 goals by the Whips, we might have a third here. Heacock, Rambo. Those guys always step up in big moments. Whether it's the National Championship 2017 for Maryland, the Bright Lights, they don't back down.
They've been doing it for a decade, those two guys sharing a team and doing it when it matters the most. Here's Rambo on the roll. That hit an official and bounces right to Patra. Single digits on the shot clock. Williams puts the shoulder down. Entenmann, the jump save. Danny Logan had it. Rexroad comes away with it. Hounded by Rambo, gets it to Entenmann. A flag is out as Entenmann goes with a behind-the-back pass.
Have you
On the
ever seen
clear,
that?
no.
You got Danny Logan trailing. You still got him.
Watch 91 in blue. Whips get their subs
Well,
on.
now they got Carpenter.
Here's
Good cat and
Carpenter.
mouse.
Skilled offensively, finds Teat. Good catch. Here's the sweep. Flips the pass across. Schellenberger's shot stopped by Krebs. He is into double figures for the game. That is out of bounds. And we'll check the flag.
I thought Carpenter could have lined up that two.
Number 9, 1 minute slash.
In terms of risk reward with the flag down, Carpenter had the airspace to line that up. I mean, hard to disagree with a guy throwing it to Teat really ever.
Rambo chasing after Rexroad. He'll sit for a minute.
Another power play opportunity.
That's 3 penalties against Jim Stagnita's team. You brought it up earlier, RB. They were the least penalized team in the regular season, but that's now back-to-back playoff games with 3 penalties for Maryland.
0 for 2 for the Atlas, top power play unit in the league. Jeff Teat, 4 goals coming into tonight. Best in the league in the power play. Haven't solved this defense yet, Drew.
Yeah, Teat took a peek. Bernhardt watches him. Under 3 minutes left in the third. Aiken for 2. Whipsnakes have scored the only 2 goals in the third quarter. It was 8-5 at halftime. Power play is half gone. Cormier gets it back to Teat. This is where they wanted. A guy who smashed records, the presumptive MVP this season. Turns and gets it to Schellenberger. 15 seconds left on the power play. Aiken from straight away. Skip past Teat. Shot was deflected by Zapatello. 2 Whipsnakes dive for it. Atlas win the backup. They're going to try to catch Krebs out of his crease, and they want to reset the shot clock.
Good. I just want to make sure.
Atlas are upset it wasn't right away.
Yeah.
They thought they had something with Schellenberger behind
No
the cage.
reset.
Well, Krebs was scrambling. to
No
get
reset.
back.
All for nothing.
Between the pipes, no reset. And the Whipsnakes will kill off another penalty.
And Atlas would have been thrilled if they got the reset. But yeah, they wanted to play fast. There was just 1 second left on the clock.
Back to 4 seconds. I want 2:07 on the game clock and 4 on the penalty clock, and then give it to where it's at before the shot clock was over. So we go back to Atlas.
So Atlas going to keep the ball. So we lost time.
Yeah, who had the run out?
It was Atlas ball. Yeah.
Anyway, 2:07 on the clock and 4 seconds left.
That's Seth Tierney. That is a man that is speaking with conviction, right? He is just, this is what's happening.
And if there's any defensive coordinators that want to nerd out, you should rewatch some of these Whipsnakes penalty kill units, because they basically flex between what's called a 4-man and a 5-man rotation. So they'll shut off Dixon inside with a short stick.
Play, the penalty time ran out. It's going to be Atlas ball on the end line with 1 second and 4 seconds left in the penalty.
So the short stick, Bernhardt, he'll go inside, shut Dixon, and then when basically emergency, when they can't get to a rotation, they break glass, he gets out of the 4-man, and then they go into a 5-man rotation, and then somebody comes in and replaces him, and they go back to a 4-man. So just a little nuanced thing. If there's any defensive coordinators that want to say, why are they 100%? Part of it's their personnel, part of it's their schematics.
So Rambo, it will be released from the sin bin in 3 seconds. Jake, what do you got on the Atlas offense?
Yeah, the Atlas offense obviously struggling, guys. You mentioned it, 6 goals in the first quarter, 2 in the second, and scoreless so far in the third. During that previous timeout, assistant coach Stephen Brooks told his teams, we're trying to hit too many home runs, we're trying to hit too many grand slams, go for the singles, and he promises the Maryland defense will break. That's baseball, Drew.
Singles to me are giving the ball to Jeff Teat.
Well, you always hear that, Kark and RB, but what does it actually look like to try to hit singles?
It's just making the easy adjacent pass right in front of you,
But
as
it's
opposed
also
to jam it in the crease or throwing this big skip pass. Just make the next simple play, the adjacent pass, the guy right in front of you.
And I'm going to elaborate a little bit on that too. Like hitting singles in lacrosse typically is get the ball in the stick of the right guys because they're the decision makers who will make those right passes. So if you're going multiple possessions without Zed Williams ever getting touches, you're not going to hit your singles the right way. When Jeff Teet's not touching the ball enough, you're not going to get into singles. That's the reality. You're going to be an offense that's in disarray when you're coming down and taking ill-advised shots without your primary ball carriers handling it.
It's just funny to hear the offensive coordinator for Atlas to say it because that was really the mantra of the Whip Snakes offensively, right? Just hitting singles.
A moving screen there on Miles Jones. Violation against the Atlas, who have missed their last 13 shots. That possession was a swing and a miss, if you will.
The Whips are a dangerous team when you get deep into a game with them, right? They're dangerous because they're a team that you don't have to just, you can't scout one or two guys. They could beat you in so many different ways.
Clark, they won last week in the quarterfinals. It felt like an old school Whips game where it was like they did not play their best ball and they still found a way to win. And to your point, they're hanging around.
Malone, the one-hand stuff. Entenmann saying he was in the crease, but for now, we've got our first time.
And hanging around, Ryan, a lot of times is finding goals in moments, late in shot clocks, late in the quarter.
It's another play by Malone where you're like, okay, you look up and then now he's got a hat trick. Let's take a look at his feet. Ooh. That looks clean, and that looks clean.
Oh my God. Yeah, that crosses. The first foot is the one you got to worry more about. Does the first foot. The second one, the ball's crossed.
But good recognition.
Don't worry about that second foot.
Good recognition by Malone. He's on a short stick. I'm shocked Atlas didn't have a slide ready.
It's a tough
that angle doesn't give us much.
He's lucky he's not the Baltimore, was it Isaiah Likely who's wearing black cleats? If he wore black cleats, we'd have a better look. TJ Malone's wearing white cleats. Line's white.
Good call, Clark. The Kevin Durant put on the line of the NFL.
You heard Mahomes
Thursday.
the other night, right? Talking about Isaiah Likely from the Ravens. Shouldn't wear black cleats.
Yeah, right. That's the second time Malone has tight-roped the crease and scored. He's got a hat trick, and his team is tied with the Atlas for the first time all day. Atlas scoreless for more than 16 minutes. 6 turnovers in the third quarter. They missed 13 shots in a row. Maryland wins the third 3-0. And folks, it's exactly what you signed up for. Tie game going to the fourth quarter. Will the Whips be back in the championship, or will the Atlas go there for the first time ever?
All right, Tina, 6 is hard to beat.
Not for us.
Okay, not soccer, but
football.
Yes. We honeymooned here.
Mallorca.
Yes. Pass.
Oh, we don't pass, Tina. Come on.
They help give you more.
A tax professional.
And they have a 97% satisfaction rating.
Salami.
You could have done it in a British accent.
That's helpful, Randy.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
BK's new fiery menu, 5 items, 5 levels, so you can do you. Level 1's like, level 5's a bit, it's fiery. At BK, have it your way.
Did I read this? Did I get eggs? Where are my keys?
Memory and thinking issues keep piling up? It may be due to a buildup of amyloid plaques in the brain. Visit morethannormalaging.com.
Let's go under the helmet, powered by Cash App.
You! Stay, you're good! Yeah, up! Here you go, all good, all good. Next play, next play. If he stands up, he's probably gonna look to go forward. All right, you know what to do otherwise. We're gonna lock everybody. Is that good? Too many! Too many! Too many! Yeah, like Danny on ball, he can do some damage, but I think like if you're like, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it. You gotta do it fast and like commit, you know?
All right, welcome back to the PLL Cash App playoffs on ESPN. Drew Carter, Paul Carcaterra, Ryan Boyle, Jake Marsh with you for this one, and it has been fantastic. Trevor Baptiste got off to a sizzling start. He scored 2 goals in the first quarter, including a 2-pointer. It was 7 of 9 against Joe Nardella, but ever since, Nardella has leveled the playing field in this battle at the stripe between the top 2 guys in terms of percentage on the season, has delivered. Let's listen in.
The timing of the whistle.
Nardella was trying to trail check Baptiste. These guys have gone head-to-head plenty of times, and it's pretty evenly matched. I mean, Nardella is maybe the one guy who has gotten the better of Baptiste.
The only one, consistently, right? I wouldn't say consistently, but has had his moments with Baptiste.
And who can you say that against Nardella this season?
Nobody,
right?
I mean, nobody.
Definitely not the Water Dogs. He went 31,
even Baptiste
31
this year, he had the best of them in the first matchup.
Shot clock is down to 1. Dixon was playing hangman for just a little bit too long. Atlas turned it over.
You know what's so interesting about watching those two and listening to them? It's the timing of the whistle. Like it's almost like, how does he know? How does he time it with the whistle that well?
Timeout here called by Maryland.
That's an early timeout. I wonder if there was maybe something the referees hadn't caught just yet, because that's an early, and I mean early, timeout of a tie ball game in the fourth quarter.
In a possession moment. I think that was part of it, right? He didn't like the spacing or...
Yep.
Okay. So, hey, get the little bit going and then action. I think if we could get the righty coming off for his right hand and the lefty's coming off for his right hand, so TJ, you'll just go the opposite way when you're setting those picks. You guys understand that? Okay? You'll kind of roll off the crease.
Wait a minute, wait, who's going?
Who's right?
It was myself, Leacock, and Levi. Okay, who's gonna get the pole?
Pots, maybe.
I've had it sometime. If we put you out there, are you getting the pole? You go on for Lehigh. Let's try to see what we can get here.
Little big. So
is it just carrying behind?
Yeah, the carrying behind, the single kind of look, and then TJ's
Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Offense on 3. 1, 2, 3.
It's new offensive coordinator Drew Snyder, decorated career at Maryland and then the professional ranks. The Outlaws, the Whip Snakes, the Water Dogs. Good to see him back in the mix from a coaching perspective.
Yeah, he's going to be a great coach. I really do. I think that, obviously in tune with the modern player. I'd be a little intimidated working with Staggs, though, because he's such a good coach and he knows what he wants. Like, he'd be like, I'm going to call this. I hope he says it's okay.
Drew's got the West Coast personality.
Yeah.
That's a good balance.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like, if you're calling a play, like, I hope he likes it.
Good balance with the Central New York personality of Jim Stagnier.
Yeah, Drew Snyder's a bit of a Staggs whisperer.
Staggs was excited about Fran Brown and the Syracuse football team today. Foul the court. There's Matt Rambo.
What a stop.
Intamin makes a big-time save. Point-blank range.
Best of the day, Drew.
Would have given Maryland its first lead today.
They weren't able to generate any transition. That was a huge part of the success early in this game. Now they've got numbers.
Costabile looks, gives it up. Saved by Krebs. Another one. 13 for Brendan Krebs. Now transition the other direction. Bernhardt rips it. Entenmann makes the save. It's the Chaminade Flyers practice battle right now. These two goalies standing on their heads. Costabile for 2. That gets in. And New York takes the lead.
Was that deflected? That took a weird bounce.
It did. I think it hit Krebs' leg.
Beautiful pass by Schellenberger, identifying the trailer. Look at this trail pass. And yeah, it hit off Krebs. I thought it might have hit some traffic leading up to it, but no, it's off of Krebs' leg.
Clear, too. Costabile with the recognition and understanding where the two-point line is. And in a game where they were starving for some offense, scoreless in the second half, he drops a 2-ball. Talk about the timing of that one.
And the unheralded play there was Comizio actually crashed the crease. And in doing so, that drew the Maryland defense in. Schellenberger kind of surveyed and then found Costabile trailing behind the play.
That's their first goal, the Atlas, since 4:12 left in the second.
And it's Costabile's first two-pointer of the summer. In the regular season, he was 0 for 11 from outside the arc. Jake, what do you got?
Just an absolutely massive two-pointer from Brian Costabile. A two-pointer for you to give you guys a 2-point lead and your first goal since the second quarter. How massive was that for you?
Honestly, it's just like a confidence thing, you know. Getting that one in the back of the net, it shows us, you know, we're still doing well. We still got this. We still got the lead right now, and just continuing to fire on all cylinders. Hopefully 9 minutes will come out with it.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Schellenberger on the miss.
You know, the timing of that, too. Also, we talk about in the open the record pace of this offense. 145 goals led the PLL in scoring for the New York Atlas, the top scoring team in the league. But they only had 6 two-pointers.
Yeah.
But the 6 two-pointers. So talk about the timing of it.
Aiken turns. Here's Jones. And that'll be a shot clock violation against the Bulls. We're back in the driver's seat here after the Whips tied it for the first time all day.
You know, it is crazy, Clark, that they only had 6 2-points, which was 7th in the league, because you look at the guys on the roster, and they're littered with 2-point threats.
Aiken can shoot from range. Costabile can shoot from range. Jones can shoot from range.
Carpenter and Smith, both of their LSMs.
And even I've seen Danny Logan pull up.
Yep. And Baptista's got one today.
Here's Anderson. He's been outstanding. Tom Schreiber called him unorthodox. Part of the reason he's so good. That pass gets away from Patra, and Entenmann's got it.
He's making Brett Makar look small. You've been next to Makar and the size of his legs. He's massive in terms of his strength. And Anderson is just like swallowing it.
They got him at 6'4", 220, Levi Anderson.
I thought Makar did a pretty good job there defensively.
But it was one of those physical matchups. We got a flag down here.
Yeah, near the substitution box. Far side of the field, top of your screen. Costabile against Heacock here.
And again, you're going to have too many men or offside by Maryland. So number 6, Mazzone, he's that free double team. He's parked on the crease.
Patra's also stuck out there defensively. Another penalty against the Whips will be the 4th power play opportunity for the Atlas. T takes the shot clock violation. We'll check the flag, expecting offsides.
Whips takes foul number 55, 30-second technical, offsides.
So when we return, Atlas to the power play for the 4th time today. Can Jim Stagnita's team stay perfect on the PK? They might have to.
All right, let's run that again.
Geico has fast fare claims 24/7 right on the Geico app.
To file a claim, just tap.
Just tap right here to upload pictures, customer.
Try getting on a first name basis.
Sure. Vicky.
To track your status, just click. Super easy.
They're connecting with the mannequins.
You're doing great, everyone.
Ooh, you're a pro.
Scroll, tap, scroll. Ouch! Oh, I'm cramping.
Yeah, we've all been there.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
I overdid it. Like a showboat, I just overdid it.
BK Royal Crispy Wraps. Eat it with the meal or have it as a snack. Only $2.99. It's a hunger hack and it fits in one hand. At BK, have it your way.
got an NFL offer.
Don't play with me.
I think I'm going to take it.
Aren't you a little too old to be playing football?
Wait, what?
They want somebody that can run a 40, not somebody that is 40. When the coach calls your number, you gonna say G56, bingo. How you gonna celebrate a win? You gonna give everybody butterscotch candy? Probably out your pocket with no wrappers on it. Just gonna give them raw candy. That's nasty, by the way.
With DraftKings, new customers bet $5 to get $250 instantly in bonus bets and a month of NFL Plus Premium. The crown is yours.
All right, the PLL Cash App playoffs. The championship is Sunday in Philly on ABC. Got the Atlas and Whips here today coming down the stretch. Archers and Chaos is our second game. Winners matchup at Subaru Park next weekend.
So what's wild to me, Drew, is you look at this Whip Snakes all season long, just 10 penalties. You know, by far the fewest. Last week in the quarters, 3. And today, this is their 4th penalty now. Now granted, they still stopped all of them. But to go play a whole regular season that clean and then to have that part of your game break down in the playoffs, it's just a little odd.
It is. And, you know, the Atlas have 64 more touches today. Why aren't they winning by more than 2? Well, I think Krebs is a big piece of that, too. He's been fantastic in cage, the Maryland Whips.
62%, 13 saves for the former Manhattan Jasper. They might need him again here. Aiken, that's a 1. Backed up by the Atlas, 17 seconds left on the power play. New York, for what it's worth, tops in the league during the regular season, almost 46% of the power play. They have met their match in this Whip Snakes PK. It was 10 for 10 in the regular season, still perfect in the playoffs. Costabile missed it for 2. Teat with the backup, he'll be the trigger man. 8 seconds left.
A 2 would be a real backbreaker.
Aiken, now Teat. Took a step toward the goal, gives it to Dox. Krebs kicks it away.
That is a big-time save, a monster save. Low and away, gets his body in front of it. Krebs has been at his best.
That's going to stay with the Atlas. The Whips are furious about that run-out
and
call.
It's a reset.
Because it was a save, it goes back to 32, so they kill off another penalty. But their job is not done yet, and this is a long defensive possession for the Whips. Puglisi playing the one-on-one defense. Here's Teat. Oh my goodness! He paints the corner. Just inside the arc, Jeff Teat makes it a 3-score lead.
And I'm going to be honest with you. The Whips were upset by the Atlas getting the extended possession. This is one of these plays, Ryan, where you just wear on your defense and then it's pounding the corner.
And you can see the reaction by Muller. He thinks he's got a bit of a free double team here. Teat on his quote-unquote wrong side, so his left hand towards the outside, not necessarily known for having that crazy range. So you could see Muller thinking like, I thought I could kind of get away. I could hedge down there and recover. And Teat makes him pay.
2 get the assist on that. Aiken for the pass, but also the extended possession, I think, wore down the Whips.
Nardella wins the faceoff. It's a big one. The Whips now down by 2 possessions. Can they get it back right here? Conrad gives up the shot, finds Patra, catches the iron on the bouncer. Rambo's in the vicinity, surrounded by blue jerseys, including Jake Stevens, the rookie, who nearly got leveled by Williams. Ball is still free at midfield. It's Conrad who's got it, gets it out to Patra. Now numbers for the Whips. This is Conrad. Under 5 seconds, or 5 minutes left, rather. A flag is out. Shot clock is below 20. Incredible goal by Ryan Conrad. Might wipe out the penalty, brings it back to a 1-possession game.
Good goal on the play. With offsides, it gets wiped out. All even face off.
On that big scrum, somehow an Atlas got an extra defender back. They actually ran off. So it's clean 6-on-6. And this is exactly why Conrad has drawn the pole virtually the entire game, is to eliminate that specific action, because as soon as he got traded to the Whip Snakes, they've gone a heavy dose of Conrad invert, and he has produced time and time again.
Become an inverting machine. And that's what it's allowed Anderson to have some offense, right? Because the pull went to Conrad and freed up Anderson, but then when Conrad gets that opportunity, whoa, to me, that should be a review. If I'm Stags, I'm getting active here.
Pressler.
Yes, I'm sorry, Pressler. Stags being the coach, he does not want Pressler to throw that flag, but to me, that's a no-brainer. Here it comes, I think.
He's throwing the flag now. I think it's too late. They've already faced off.
What do you got, man? Want the crease on that goal? Yep. Okay.
They're allowed a certain amount of time post-goal.
I thought that was only in the flow of the game, though.
Okay. They were yelling about it. Did you guys see the flag drop? Drop before the face-off. So we allow that. Okay.
It did not drop before the face-off. We were watching from up here.
Previous goal by the Whipsnakes is being challenged by the Atlas.
Did he drop it before the face-off? Because obviously post-goal, there's got to be some amount of time that they're allowed to review. They're saying it was dropped before the face-off. You know, can Stags throw the challenge flag on when Pressler threw the challenge flag? Can you challenge a challenge?
Open up the rule book.
Stamp a double stamp. You can hear Stags in the background saying it's definitely after the face.
I'm telling you, if they allow this play to be reviewed, it's going to be no goal.
Yeah.
Clearly, he dragged his foot. And in real time, it didn't seem that way.
No, good call. Yeah, absolutely.
This
we
is
only
clear.
saw it on replay.
Watch, I believe it's his. Okay, so it's going to be his left foot right there. He drags that. That is clearly in the crease before the ball crosses.
Even with a white cleat.
Yeah, even with a white cleat. Yep. There's no shot this play doesn't get overturned if they allow the challenge.
Can they look at when the flag was thrown? Because we have that footage as well.
Well, we're going to talk to Seth.
After review, the challenge flag was flown after the window had closed. It will be no goal. It will be excuse me, good goal.
Good goal.
It's going to be Whipsnake's ball right here.
All right,
well, hold on. We're not done yet. We're still not done yet.
Face-off happened because the challenge is no good. Yeah, Whipsnake's picked it up and that's when we go. Yeah.
Right. So the face-off.
Whipsnake's ball right here.
Stands.
Gotcha.
So let's bring in.
Your flag doesn't come out until after we blow the whistle.
Yeah, let's bring in Seth. Can you hear us in the booth?
I can hear you guys.
Seth, walk us through the timing of this. What's allowed and why ultimately they did not let the Atlas challenge.
Hey. Yeah, so the flag has to be thrown prior to the whistle of the next face-off. It was not. So we had to look at a lot of things. One, if the challenge did go through, looks like he stepped in the crease, then we'd have to unfold everything, take that goal away, and move in a different direction. But when we were watching that, the flag wasn't thrown by Coach Pressler until after the face-off whistle. So everything stays the way it is because that challenge flag.
Yeah, will he retain that challenge then?
Say that one more time, Ryan. I'm sorry.
Will he retain that challenge?
Yes, he'll retain that challenge. I'll double check with Matty Palin.
Seth, is there any penalty for throwing the flag when you can't challenge?
Not. I mean, I believe Matty's letting him pick it up and put it back in his pocket. I don't think there's a flag for doing that at this point in time. Maybe sometime in the future.
Okay.
We appreciate you, Seth. You do a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thanks, Clark. See you guys.
You're alone, Chet. So it looks like he's going to try the same type of play, right, Conrad? All right, I dragged my foot this time. This time you're going to pay.
Williams for the tie. And Rambo's got the backup.
This is where you miss Tucker Dordovic. This is where you miss Brad Smith. Those guys can stretch a defense from deep.
Heacock, that's a 1, and it counts. And Colin Heacock flexing on him again. Maryland within 1.
I like how they haven't chased the 2, right? There's plenty of time left, Boyle.
Yeah, and Heacock continues his strong day. You know, he's got a hat trick. And Maryland, you got to credit them for responding down 3, but they go back to that same action with Conrad behind the goal, so he's already scored. Now we got to support. You could see Adler slide down, and then there's just no second slide and no rotation behind the play. You can see Kobe Smith is probably the next guy that was supposed to rotate over. A little bit of a breakdown and confusion there, Atlas defensively, and Heacock makes him pay, and
he's confident.
If I'm Whips, if you don't put a pole on Conrad, you could expect that over and over again.
Yeah, Heacock's heating up. And if this was a situation where in the first quarter and Baptiste was heating up, you'd say, oh, now they have to deal with Baptiste. This matchup has been essentially even.
And there's actually a violation there, so Baptiste won't be able to take the next one. So an opportunity to make it, take it, and they got numbers.
There's Conrad. Malone catches the iron.
It's a great point, Boyle. The battle at the stripe is massive. Right now, it's dead even. Dead even.
But you knew Nardella was going to respond.
It's 11-11. Top 2 face-off men on the planet. 3.5 minutes left. Whips down by 1. Rambo takes the shot, ties the game.
The southpaw from Philly delivers again. Boyle, there's just different types of athletes, right? Like, it doesn't matter what Matt Rambo has done for the last 3-4 weeks. When a game is on the line, when a season is on the line, you go to him. You don't get cute. You don't do anything outside of give Matt Rambo the ball. He will own a one-on-one matchup. And when you short him, he dominates it.
You could see him, that initial lean in, and then he just backs up. He just fades away. He gives ground, and then Camizio never comes in it and closes out on his airspace.
Come on! Yep, come on, let's go. Let's go, we got a game.
And you think of it, back-to-back goals, Heacock and then Rambo.
Yep, it's the guys. No Baptiste here on this faceoff. So when they didn't chase the 2 with Heacock, look how it's played out.
Danny Logan takes the faceoff, and the Atlas win it, but give it right away.
Wow.
Almost found money for New York without Baptiste, but they turn it over.
And if you're wondering why Malone didn't pick that up right away, it's actually smart. He slow played that so they could substitute behind the play.
And because they lost the faceoff and got it back, they get 52 on the timer, down to 40 now with Mike Chanenchuk. He has the short stick matchup, plays the 2-man with Rambo. Under 3 minutes left. Chanenchuk on the inside roll, he got hounded.
Great ground ball by Malone.
Yeah, the rookie scoops it. Watched by Gavin Adler.
Where's the Conrad invert? Well, he's got Logan on him. Maybe that's
the one short stick you're not going to invert against. Now it's said. Here's Gavin Adler defending. Williams trying to get to that right hand. Malone spins it through for Chanenchuk. Now Patra. Here's Rambo against Adler. 5 seconds to shoot. The shot is high. Backed up with just 2 seconds left.
Just a really good defensive possession there by Atlas. The slide and then the rotation. Whipsnakes just couldn't beat that rotation with quick enough ball movement.
This game in the third quarter, you felt like it didn't have an identity. Now the last 5 minutes, you feel like you're walking on eggshells.
How
It's
good
nuts.
is this? Whipsnakes have won 5 in a row. Atlas are the 1 seed. They've never been to the championship. And they will take a timeout. Mike Pressler wants to talk it over with $1:45 to play.
Got a 3-0 run by the Maryland Whips. You thought New York was going to take control. It was Conrad inverting. He's been so strong down the stretch after the trade from the Philadelphia Water Dogs, and then he cocked the lefty. Then his best friend, his national champion partner at the University of Maryland. This is what they do when the game is on the line. They cook.
You roll off. Yeah. All right? We good? Single.
Stephen Brooks.
Are we good? Are we clear on this? Come over.
Stephen Brooks is in the upper echelon in terms of plays out of timeouts. Does a really fantastic job matching his different chess pieces to what they want to do schematically.
Yeah, he's a star of a coach. I expect him, he'll be a head coach in this league at some point. Combination of the way that he obviously schemes things up.
And what he likes to do, typically you'll see some sort of an early kind of window dressing, and then some sort of ball reversal into a pick action, and then with a secondary dodge look.
You got 37 seconds.
You got plenty of time. Plenty of time. But look for Dixon with some picks.
They spring Costabile free against the short stick Puglisi. The Atlas have not trailed all night. Jones gets free. Krebs has the answer.
They got the look they drew up. They used Dixon as a bit of a decoy. It was a double layered kind of pick. Dixon came off first. You saw the defense. It's Dixon. Yeah. We overreact. And then Jones just whoop.
Red alert. Everyone was thinking inside Dixon. That's what they love.
And then Jones just kind of fades or backs up, and he was left open.
How about Brendan Krebs, the hometown kid, went to high school 5 miles from here at Chaminade, where he never started a game. Slept on his entire career. He could be the hero today.
He's been phenomenal, Drew.
1 minute left. It's Conrad finds Malone. Entenmann has the save.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
This game.
There we go.
Yes.
And again, it was off a Conrad invert.
Got about a 4 or 5 second difference shot in game clock.
A lot of green. Oh.
There are fans down here. I'm looking at like this pack of little kids. Shirts are off. They're standing like every last second.
And New York takes its final timeout. Liam Entenmann hasn't been as good as he typically is today, but man, this is the biggest one.
That's a phenomenal stop.
Off his elbow.
You know where he's so good? He's so good at getting low, but also staying high. What I mean by that is he crouches low, but there's parts of his body, like he uses the elbow there. He didn't, if he has everything low, including his hands and his elbows, he doesn't make that stop. He gets low and crouches where he protects with his body, but he's got the elbow.
Here early to set the pick before he even gets to there. So it's a seal. Just to get him occupied. Then Costa's gonna pass down pick. Costa's the next pass down pick down. We're gonna have 3 defenders flush. Miles, it's a 2-on-2. You set the seal for Dixon. Costabile's picking it up. Listen. Listen, if Dixon isn't there, it goes to Miles, and we fucking go home with the
You think he wants this moment? You think he wants this goal? I mean, come on. That dude is all business, Stephen Brooks. And to your point, Boyle, and you said it beautifully, there's disguise here, too. It's not the first look. It's not the first look.
Jake, what'd you hear down there?
Yeah, for the whip snakes in their huddle, the amount of times the words Jeff Teat was said in about a 30-second span was out of this world. All eyes are on 7 and blue, but there are plenty of weapons on this Atlas team. Who will they go to on this final possession?
And Jake, to your point, and to what Boyle was saying and what we're hearing from Stephen Brooks is they're going to use him almost as a decoy. They're not going to go to Teat, I don't think.
They're going to feed. They want to turn him into a feeder. They want to get him operating, so there's the pass.
But they know they're going to go heavy and slide to him, so he's not the end result.
No, it's all going to be off-ball picks. Watch Jones and Dixon and Costa in particular. Here comes the 2-man with Docs.
Docs better set that pick. You better set it.
Here it is. Trying to get Matt Dunn off Jeff Teat. Looks like they're going to try to hold for one here. Teat Now at X, Dunn still chasing him, under 10 on the shot clock. Atlas need to get the shot away. They're not going to. The horn sounds, the game clock is still running. They finally freeze it with 0.1.
I can't believe it when it went late into that possession that Teague just didn't go himself.
Well, Dunn did a good job of I think easier said than done. Pardon the bad pun there, but Dunn forced him underneath.
I agree, but they were almost at desperation mode there.
You can't take the timeout with you to overtime, so Stagny uses his final one.
I think they just waited too long to get into it. Like,
Game clock's been adjusted to 2.8. Timeout with Chase.
They're going to have the ball behind their own goal here. So,
but let's backtrack for a second. To your point, Dunn was playing Teague really, really well.
Listen.
That means Docs had to go immediately when he got the ball.
Zed in front of the goal, okay? Potts and Zed in front of the goal. Channy, I want you high up there, okay? And give me, Squires, you're a midfielder. You're up here high, okay? So Squires, Channy, and Potts. You got it? Let's go. Hey, let's go.
so
Remember,
yeah, go ahead.
Because of the timing, 2.8. The ball just has to leave the stick.
Right, which is where I'm headed. You could still make a pass and then get it off. So by having Shannon Chuck and Squires, I think you're going to see them along the midfield line, kind of flanking each wing. And either they're going to be open, in which case you throw it to them, and if they're covered, that leaves easier kind of air traffic control to shoot it right on net. So I think that's the read. I mean, obviously the chances of this going, like me breaking this down is ridiculous. But like, I think that's the thought process.
There's still time on the clock.
Yeah.
You got a chance. There's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. But this ball
so you got two screeners. You got two screeners right in front of Entenmann. You're just locking everywhere off ball. So can you? I would cut hard to that middle of the field and try to hit somebody in rhythm here, because there's 3.8 now. There's 3.8. Like, you do not need to shoot this right away.
They added another second. 3.8. Dunn's the trigger man. It goes all the way to Entenmann, and we're going to overtime. It's just fitting. I mean, the Whipsnakes will not go away. They have not led all night. And they can win it and go back to the championship with a goal here in sudden victory. Again, no timeouts. PLL overtime. Absolutely. First goal wins. And now, how crucial is this first faceoff? Think about the Atlas with the best 32-second offense in the PLL. If Baptiste can get one here, they score almost a third of the time in that setting in that first possession.
And you're looking at the two premier face-off guys in the league since this league's inception in 2019.
Nardella, the first in terms of regular season face-off percentage. He had 5 goals and shot 63%.
Baptiste has the best career percentage, right? Like, so it's the moment to go to the championship, and to go back to what Tom Schreiber was saying, like, when he tried to break this game down, what was the first matchup he discussed that created the tempo, that created the opportunities? It was at the stripe.
But the issue for Atlas is, they're 2 of last 23 shooting the rock. 19 turnovers. So if they don't score right off the face-off win, I mean,
Krebs has had the answer.
I mean, it has not been the strongest second half. They've only scored twice, one of which was the Costabile 2-pointers.
Yeah, and the Atlas have not been in overtime this season. This is their first OT of the year. They're dealing with Krebs in the cage.
Yeah, come on, no, instead of pick high.
Jake, what are you hearing down there? Anything?
Just in that Atlas huddle, Stephen Brooks looked at every offensive player in the eyes. He said, who's going to be that guy? Who's going to get us to the finals? He believes in every single one of them. Who is it going to be? I guess we'll find out if Atlas can win it.
They got a lot of good options, including the face-off man, Trevor Baptiste, who scored twice in the first half. He's 11 for 22 today. Nardella 10 for 23, but Nardella's had the upper hand in the second half where he is 8 for 11.
Let's just sit back and watch this matchup unfold.
And listen to
yes.
Biggest face-off of the day belongs to the Whips. Baptiste might be hurt. Patra takes the shot. First goal wins. That's close on the run out. Entenmann almost won it, but they give it to Rambo. Oh, Baptiste is banged up. That is a shame. What an effort today. Rambo takes the shot, missed it with the right hand. Who's closest to it when it goes out of bounds? Still Maryland. 20 seconds to shoot.
Pick coming from Malone.
This is the guy they want to have the rock. TJ Malone, a hero all season. Can he send him to the championship? Now it's Heacock. A hat trick for the former Terp. Single digits on the shot clock. They double Heacock. He sweeps across. Back to his left hand. Carpenter all over him. That's a shot clock violation. 52 seconds on the timer for the Atlas.
Yeah, Heacock just wasn't able to get the ball out quick enough out of his stick. He drew the double team. He did his job.
The Atlas had a good time double there that just kind of elongated his dodge. Where's Jeff Teat? You broke the record in the PLL. You shattered it. You're going to be the MVP. This is your moment, right? The ball has to get in your stick. 7 in blue.
He sets the screen for Stevens. The rookie lost his footing, might have been pushed by Bernhardt. Gets it to Teat. This is where they want it. Skip pass, shot deflected. Never got to Krebs. Schellenberger lays a shoulder. Physicality, and Krebs gets it to Puglisi.
What a grounder by the rookie Ajax Zapatello behind the cage to flick it to his goalie.
I feel like every fan here at the stadium is about to hyperventilate. What a finish to our first semifinal.
Where's Rambo? Where is Rambo? As much as Malone's been the guy, Boyle, Rambo's going to want the rock here.
He is Mr. Clutch. Here's Chanenchuk, pretty clutch in his own right. Finds Conrad, who they acquired at the deadline. He has the short stick matchup. Draws 2, can't connect with Patra. Malone keeps it in play. Goes out of bounds, but saves it. Still Whipsnake's ball.
Rambo's calling for it behind the cage. They weren't able to swing it to him there.
Too late to get him the rock.
Yep.
5 to shoot. Chanenchuk still with it. Does Rambo have enough time to make something happen? Oh, wow. I think that shot would have counted. Entenmann is going to trigger the clear.
I can't take this kind of stuff.
This is
I can't take this kind of stuff.
Unreal. Whips trying to get to the championship for the 4th time in their storied history. The Atlas have never been there. They've been the best team all summer. Next goal wins and stamps your ticket to Philly. Costabile sweeps. Doesn't like what he sees. Here's Dixon. Now it's Teat. The presumptive MVP uses the Costabile screen. He's got a short stick matchup with Bernhardt. Jeff Teat gets to his spot, missed the shot. Is it a shot or a pass?
Doesn't matter, it's a crease
ball.
violation.
He was in the crease, good call, RB. And now Teat looks to be a little banged up.
This is survival of the fittest. Whew. You got to give Rambo the ball.
Either that or the Conrad invert. Because right now he's got a short stick on. I would run him all the way around the cage on an invert, and I would try to change this matchup if I was Atlas.
It's been so effective for the Whips since they got him in early August, and that's what they're doing. Inverting against the shorty Camizio. Conrad with the swim, gets it to Anderson. Rookie shoots, it's blocked. I think it's Camizio who got his body on it. Now can they clear? They get it to Adler. Malone on the ride. Need to clear it before the shot clock hits 32, and they do. with Danny Logan.
Where is Dox Aiken? He's a guy that wasn't out there on the previous midfield. He can win you any one-on-one matchup.
And when he was at the University
That's
of Virginia,
right.
He was ice, and they called it Dox time.
He's still not out there.
Miles Jones has it, and Teat was open in the two-man. They didn't get it to him. Now Schellenberger at X. If Stevens is out there
Here's
for
the pick to
Atlas.
Dixon. He's going to get a pick. Zapatel is great getting through the picks. There he is.
Schellenberger feeds. Teat shoots. Krebs makes the save. Brendan Krebs, the hero in his hometown.
That was the look. I mean, that was the moment,
Yes.
Kark, the
Yes, it
MVP.
was. Oh, boy.
Oh, and he nearly lost it. Teat almost took it away. Krebs still has it. He's made 16 saves, allowed just 9 goals.
Whoa!
Oh, Bernhardt. Little dipsy-do on Jones. They could have numbers here if they go.
Each pass is a life of its own.
Not a lot of time left on the clock. It took them so long to clear the ball. They got to get into their action here.
You score, you move on to the championship, you get scored on, your season's over.
Got to go.
10 to shoot.
That's good defense.
Peacock still has it.
He
Defender lost his stick.
Oh, they got him with a ward.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Peacock on the ward. The Whips
How
took
often
way
you see
too much
that
time
call?
in that possession, Boyle. Way too much time.
It took them so long to clear it. They kind of like relaxed afterwards, instead of understanding, like, wait, we got to have urgency.
Here's Dox.
A lot of green here. A lot of green
Dox.
here. A lot of
Aiken's
green.
got it. Matched up with the pole, Colin Squires.
Good time to go. I don't know what you're waiting for.
Yeah, the 4v4 set.
Right there. You had it up top.
They're out of
Tons
their
space.
typical defense. The 4v4 is a great time to go.
Aiken operates from X, chops the feet. Dox turns to his left. Krebs with his 17th save. This guy is ridiculous.
Big ground ball.
Yeah, Stevens, the ground ball pickup. The rookie shoots. Brings it off the iron. That would have won the game. Ground ball's available. Whip Snakes have it with Zappatello. What a pass.
This is
Matt
bonkers.
Dunn. In transition, Dunn peels back around. Oh my gosh. We're all losing years off our lives here.
This is ridiculous.
Whips slow it down again. 7 minutes into overtime. It's Anderson, the swim, the score! Levi Anderson sends the Whips to the championship.
Whip Snake Nation. Defined by a rookie class that made this season complete, Boyle. The winner comes from a player that not many teams wanted. He was a Redwood in the beginning. He was an easy pickup and trade for Jim Stagnita. And he delivers a massive punch, and remember the name, Levi Anderson. He brings the Whips to Philly next week.
Finishes the game with a hat trick after really not doing a whole lot last week in the quarterfinals. And Teat had his moment in overtime, but Krebs, huge saves. Here's Anderson, that swim move, and you can see Atlas prepared to slide. They get there, but it's just a little bit too late.
And when he swims, he's so massive that if he gets that inside track, it's over. Like if he gets inside you after that swim, it's lights out.
And you can see his head was up the whole time. So it really kind of froze the defense by having your head up. They're like, wait, are you gonna feed the ball? Like,
yeah.
We don't wanna slide too quickly. So he held him with that before turning his attention to burying it.
You know, it's fitting that the greatest rookie class of all time, I think, in professional lacrosse history, not just from the headline perspective of the Schellenbergers and the O'Neills and the Entenmans, the depth of this rookie class, right? And this team, the Whip Snakes, were defined by picking up guys late in the draft. And who brings this team to their championship and who completes this comeback?
a rookie. It's a blend. For me, what makes them so special is the blend of rookies with the veterans, right? You saw Anderson bury the game winner. He had a hat trick. Malone had a hat trick. But then you had the quote-unquote old-timers, if you will, with Heacock,
Rambo.
right? And Rambo, and Conrad.
The rookies couldn't have done it without the vets. The vets couldn't have done it without the rookies. It's a perfect pair.
Brendan Krebs, one of the heroes, the goalie playing in his hometown, is with Jake Marsh.
10 minutes away from your hometown, you just put off one of the best playoff performances in goal that I've ever seen. Some clutch saves there, and you guys are going to the championship for the 4th time ever. How?
I mean, it feels good. It's all about the guys in front of me, right? It's cliche to say, but it's the truth. They did their job today. It made my job a lot easier. I think we won the middle of the field there in the second half, and that was kind of the key to the game today. So,
your former teammate, you and your former teammate Liam Entenmann, you guys went at it. You both had incredible saves. What do you have to say about that matchup back and forth?
I mean, I have nothing but respect for Liam. He's a great person, he's a great competitor, and obviously he's an amazing goalie. So hats off to him. He played a hell of a game.
Maryland is 1 win away from its 3rd PLL championship. How do you close the door next week?
I mean, it's the theme for the past 6-7 weeks now. It's all about us. We just got to worry about us, do our job, and we'll see what happens.
Congratulations. Good luck next week.
Thank you very much.
For me, Drew, it was Krebs' performance in the 3rd quarter that really kind of kept things at bay and let Whipsnakes chip away at that. And then it's the saves in overtime. But here's the 3-goal swing at the end of the game. You had Conrad on the invert, kind of the questionable goal with him stepping the crease. They go right back to the well. Now you slide to him, and he hits Heacock. And then Rambo, Mr. Clutch, the king of Philly. You knew he was going to step up at some point. He ties the ball game, and then in overtime, it's the Rook, Levi Anderson. And if Malone was the steal of the draft, is Anderson the steal of the trades?
Yeah.
The post-draft trades.
Yes, it's, you know, and credit Jim Stagnita, because I, for one, looked at this roster heading into week 1, and I'm like, they have some rebuilding to do. Don't underestimate that guy right there.
It wasn't just week 1. There was a few weeks early in the season where you're like, what's going on here?
They started 2-4. They haven't lost since, guys. They've won 6 in a row. That goal Levi Anderson scored to give them the lead, it's their first lead of the day.
Yeah, they were down. When they were down 8-4 and Nardella was getting kind of owned by Baptiste, and Nardella responded too. He's such a critical piece of this comeback. Won 50% for the afternoon and into the evening.
Despite all the new pieces, it's guys like Nardella that kind of, that Whips core is still intact. And like last week, they won a game that frankly I didn't think they played very well. It felt like an old school Whips game. Today, it was the hanging around, and then they win it, right? They didn't lead all game.
And we said don't let them stay in a game, because they'll win ugly, they'll win pretty, they'll do whatever they have to do.
Think about this, RB. Last week against Denver, they win. The difference is that goal at the end of the 3rd quarter, the own goal against Denver, they ultimately win by 1. Today, if that challenge flag comes in before the face-off, maybe you wipe that goal. There's no overtime. And then in overtime, this happens. You got the rookie, Jake Stevens, who shoots and hits the pipe. I mean, they are this close, the Atlas are, to killing the Whips, but they're unkillable.
It's crazy. Crazy when you think about this game is coming down to inches.
6-game win streak for Maryland. They are back in the championship for the 4th time in their franchise history. And for the New York Atlas, what a season.
What a season. You know, for them to respond to last year and put themselves in the position that they had for this playoffs, young roster, right? So expect them to be intact for years to come. So they've got things going in the right direction after a tough last season. They just need to get over the hurdle in the playoffs. That's the last kind of feather in their cap that they need to get to the championship.
The Atlas will be back, but for now, the Whipsnakes are here. They're in the championship in Philly next Sunday, and they'll take on either the Archers or the Chaos. We're going to get a rematch of Whips and Chaos, another one? See if Carolina can knock off Utah. PLL Cash App playoffs continue in about 30 minutes right here on ESPN+. with the Chaos and the Archers. For RB, Kark, and Jake, our entire crew, led by Todd and Brett, I'm Drew. Thanks for watching the PLL on ESPN. We'll see you in about half an hour. Woo!
All right, Tina, 6 is hard to beat.